WBRP Mornings with Brian Haldane off and running. Brian here with you. Bree Lynn producing, starting you off at 52 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge. Staving off summer one day at a time. Oh, man. Broadcasting live from the 180 Pros studio. 180 Pros, not your IT provider, your IT partner. Learn more about that at 180pros.com. Got a busy show for you today. Of course, we're going to talk about congressional maps from a news perspective in the first hour. We are going to have Medical Monday at 7:15. Talk with Patrick Robinson from LABI at 7:35. So we're going to dig into some workers' comp issues out at the Capitol today. 8 o'clock hour, quick chat about everything under the sun with Moon. And then Congresswoman Julia Letlow going to be in studio at 8:15 before we hand off to the BREC Room at 8:30. So let's go ahead and get you started. Here's a little top stories and trending. Add Cleo Fields' name to the list of congressional candidates suing over halting congressional elections with unconstitutional maps. That brings the current total up to 11 candidates that are thus far within the suit. The Baton Rouge Constable's Office is conducting city court warrant pickups today in an attempt to address the backlog of over 100,000 outstanding warrants. 100,000 outstanding warrants. Wow. Beginning today, deputy constables, along with neighboring agencies in possession of Baton Rouge City Court warrants, will begin picking up residents that have those warrants. The initiative will last until Thursday. A juvenile was struck by gunfire along Devore Drive around 1:45 on Sunday afternoon when a male exited a vehicle, began exchanging gunfire with a juvenile before fleeing. Now, deputies said that pulled up the wrong page. Deputies said that during the exchange, the juvenile was struck in the arm. His injuries were non-life-threatening. Early voting is underway. Polls open on Saturday. We pushed pause, of course, yesterday because they're not open on Sunday, but they do reopen today through this coming Saturday. Of course, no congressional race will be active on this ballot. There was a Amber Alert last night for a missing 3-year-old boy. That boy has been found. Is a missing 3-year-old boy from New Orleans. He was found safe yesterday evening. State police said the toddler was found shortly after 10 p.m.
Did you get that alert? I didn't get it.
I saw it on the news. No, I didn't get it. For some reason, I don't get Amber Alerts. I don't know if I have them turned off in my phone because I'm just a heartless person that doesn't care about missing children.
Brian.
I don't know why I don't get them. I don't know why. I don't know why.
No, I didn't get it either. Okay. Well, another round of inflation, particularly at the grocery store, is expected as the war in Iran continues.
Yeah. I was listening to comes around right before America in the Morning. Talking about now we've got another semi 30-day deadline that Iran wants to have a deal done within 30 days. So good to know they're back at the table, back in the negotiating table. If they're as decimated as we're told they are, I don't know what there's left to negotiate for. Just end it.
I know. Interesting.
Whatever.
And our prices at the store, gosh.
I know. And if you look at a breakdown of what items are expected to go up, interestingly enough, it's
eggs,
things that
milk,
beef.
Okay.
So beef is going to go up except a lot higher than pork and poultry. Like beef's supposed to go up.
Beef is high already.
I know. And beef is supposed to go up by about 8%, where pork is supposed to go up by 0.4% and poultry 0.7%. But you also got like products like sugar, like as a base product that's going to, if sugar goes up, everything else on the shelf goes up, right?
Of course.
Especially the aisles up and down the middle of the store. So, but what I find amazing though is the number of products that are homegrown here in Louisiana, and we're going to get the brunt of both, the increase in prices at the store. It's like we make a lot of sugar here, make a lot of gas here.
That's true.
And yet for some reason, when things go up, when we see inflation, we don't get the relief on the back end.
No. All right. This year's Met Gala is tonight.
Yay.
You know,
pretty people. Yay.
Yeah, just all the pretty celebrities. I never understood the big deal about it.
Yay, she's wearing a meat helmet. Yay.
There's Kim Kardashian.
But like they're always dressed in something that's like ridiculous.
Over the top.
Yeah.
See-through. There was one year, what wasn't it? Kanye West, since Bianca, his new wife, whatever, Sensori or whatever, she was fully nude at the Met Gala. And I don't know.
Why
it's
not?
Just,
go for it. Knock
right.
yourself out.
And what has to be the most Florida man story in Louisiana today? A man had to be rescued after rolling his tractor in Bayou Lafourche over the weekend. What?
Shout out to associate producer Stu for that one, by the way.
So
I saw
picture,
it, but he had sent it over. Yeah.
The picture
of the upside down tractor or lawnmower, whatever.
Oh my God. It's on its side.
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Good stuff.
Only a Florida man would do that.
Well, but he's down Highway 1, so that's not a Florida man. That's a Florida man in Louisiana.
That's true.
That's a Louisiana man doing a Florida man impression.
Oh my gosh.
610 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. The LSU baseball Tigers have somehow managed to stay alive. A sweep of South Carolina was needed in order to keep hopes alive for the postseason. Hopes remain alive for the postseason. In fact, one might say on this May 4th that there's a new hope. Softball Tigers get a sweep as well. We'll talk about both of them in just a little bit. Let me remind you about the folks over at Industry Makes before we hit our first break this morning. IndustryMakes.org is that website. IndustryMakes.org. What are you going to learn over at IndustryMakes.org? Well, I'm happy to tell you. Every time you see industry in Louisiana do anything up and down the river, whether you're talking about manufacturing, whether you're talking about through the chemical field, oil and gas field, every time you see industry try to do anything, grow jobs, expand, do things cleaner than they've done them in the past, anytime you see them do anything, there's a protest. Someone's going to speak out, and you're going to hear all kinds of negative things about the industry that runs our state and runs our world. Well, when it comes down to it, someone's got to return serve. Someone's got to get straight facts out there. For example, one of the biggest ones that I'm floored by all the time is the myth of Cancer Alley. When you actually break down the parishes that are quote unquote in Cancer Alley versus what the numbers of cancer incidents in those parishes are, and then add into that the amount of health benefit that comes with having a full-time job at a plant, meaning that if you do catch cancer, which is at the same rate as everywhere else, if you do, you can fight it better because you're employed and you've got medical insurance. I mean, it's amazing when you actually hear the arguments return serve. Learn more at industrymakes.org. Oh. 6:15, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Let's go ahead and talk a little baseball. 4 wins in a row. That is what we call a streak, ladies and germs, and that is what LSU baseball is looking at right now. A sweep of, well, you add South Carolina back, not South Carolina, you add Southeastern back on Tuesday, and then 3 straight games against South Carolina. That brings us up to 4. How did it break down? Well, everything rained out on Friday, right? So you play a doubleheader Saturday. 6-1, your final score in the first. 7-3, your final score in the second. Now, by the way, for those of y'all who are listening to or watching that second game, I go ahead and apologize. We lost the feed for a minute in the top of the 9th inning. So your boy was over here struggling, trying to get the feed back up while maybe trying to call a play or two while having zero information on any of it. I had a monitor in front of me. I didn't have a box score open in front of me or nothing. So
You're
I'm like, you remember the old viral clip of Boom Goes the Dynamite?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was your boy.
Yes.
That was your boy on Saturday night. Was okay, there's the pitch to, I think this guy plays shortstop.
Stop.
Hey, he's gonna pop out the Milam. I knew the LSU guys' names. I just didn't have anything open in front of me. So, and all the while trying to like reconnect with the booth. So if you were watching or listening, yes, please give me hell because I know it was terrible. It was really caught off guard. That's all. But LSU,
I should have listened.
LSU ices that one 7-3. Your final score there. They turn back around on Sunday, post up a 7-0 win. That's the sweep of South Carolina. The Tigers will host Tulane on Tuesday before hitting the road to go play Georgia in a Friday, Saturday, Sunday set. Now, as far as LSU's conference record is concerned right now, overall, the Tigers are 28-21. That doesn't matter. What matters is where they're at in conference play. 9-15 right now in conference play. Generally speaking, and this isn't a hard and fast rule, it's just generally speaking, 13 conference wins in the SEC is what gets you into postseason play. So that means 2 out of 3 the next 2 weekends between at Georgia and then home versus Florida. 2 really, really, really good teams. If you watch the South Carolina games and said, where's this LSU team been all season? Well, you have to realize that South Carolina was the cellar dweller right next to us. So where have they been all season? They've been playing better teams is the answer to that question. Meanwhile, over at Tiger Park, oh my word, is Beth Tarina and her Tigers hitting stride at exactly the right time. You had what was supposed to be a Thursday, Friday, Saturday season for the softball. Oh, wait, hang on. We got to go back to baseball. I was like, yeah. I mean, how about it? They're going to leave the yard a couple times. We should at least play it. Here's Omar Cerna in the third yesterday.
So he was going to take that chance anyway, and the chance paid off as he's sitting 90 feet away.
The 1-2, Cerna lifts it high in the air to left field. Lazama going back, and this baseball is out of here. Omar Cerna Jr. with home run, number 7, a 2-run blast, and it's 2-0 LSU.
There it is. All right, now let's go back to you kill it. Now we can go back to the softball Tigers, who are hitting their stride, potentially hitting their stride at exactly the right time. Beth Tarina and her squad were supposed to have a Thursday, Friday, Saturday series. Once again, Friday was a washout. So on Thursday, Tigers pick up a 3-0 win over Auburn. On Saturday, they play a doubleheader. In game 1 of that doubleheader, Breland, care to guess what the final score of game 1 of the doubleheader was?
Gosh, 15-0.
You're not even close. How about 25-0?
Okay.
LSU rolling. Obviously, that was a run rule, ended in 5 innings. Tigers come back with a 7-2 win in game 2. So they are now at an overall record of 37-16, conference record of 13-11. I'll tell you about SEC tournament on their end next. Boo doo 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 doo.
Congratulations to the Dutchtown Griffons baseball team of beating #1 Barb. And best 2 out of 3.
Wow, that's no slouch. Yeah, Barb's legit. All right. Very, very rough start to the morning on I-10 westbound. There's an accident with injuries. It's listed as St. Louis Street, which is essentially the upslope of the bridge. So if you're heading westbound, if you're headed over to Port Allen or points beyond, there are going to be significant delays because of this accident, I-10 westbound on the upslope of the bridge. You're seeing the delays on 10 west. They start like just past the 10-110 split. But the delays, I should say they start, that's where they culminate. The delays actually start way back by Acadian, is where you're going to hit the brakes and pretty much stay on your brakes past Acadian, past Dalrymple, past the lakes, and all the way to the upslope of the bridge. Now, once you get over the bridge, it's free and clear and you're good to go. But huge, huge problem to start off your morning with an accident with injuries, I-10 westbound on the bridge. Now, backing things up to I-12 westbound coming in from Denham Springs, you are seeing your normal delays, your normal congestion, 12 westbound by the Range Avenue on-ramp. Outside of that, when you back things up on 10 westbound coming in from Century Parish, it's looking good there. 110 north and south are looking good. 10 eastbound coming back across from West Baton Rouge Parish is also looking good. Surface streets. Now, I am showing an advisory on North Acadian Thruway, but I'm not showing any real delays as a result of that. And there are no other surface street accidents to look out for. The advisory on North Acadian is southbound side, but just north of Gus Young Avenue. So if that involves your morning route, you might want to give that a quick look. But like I said, there's an advisory with no delays. So take that for what it's worth. That's your look at traffic from the Talk 107.3 Traffic Center. .624 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane off continuing right now. We keep on rolling as we'll get you the news here at the bottom of the hour in just a little bit. After news, traffic, weather, we're going to talk a little bit about drawing congressional maps. Is it as easy as just going back to the old map? Is that easy? Or if you remember back to earlier in the session, or was it this session or even in a previous session, maps have already been submitted. So are those adoptable? We've got a lot of ground to cover. We'll talk about that. Plus, the absolute want by some to go to the polls to vote for an unconstitutional district. The want by some to look at what the Supreme Court said and say, boo to that. Just give big fat bird finger to the judicial branch. We'll talk about it in a little bit. LSU softball. Let's get back to this real quick. LSU softball in Lexington, Kentucky for the SEC Conference Tournament. The Tigers do not play tomorrow. They will play Wednesday. Wednesday night, in fact, they are the home team as the 8 versus 9 seed. Tigers are the 8. Georgia is the 9. LSU will play Georgia tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Not tomorrow night. Wednesday night, 7 p.m. is your first pitch. 6:45 is when pregame will start right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Patrick Wright will be on the call. Your home for LSU softball all season long is right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Now, if LSU survives versus Georgia, they'll play Oklahoma the next night, and then, well, we'll have to regroup and see who's still standing after that for the rest of the tournament. But these Tigers look like they're hitting their stride at exactly the right time. I hope I'm right in that. Produce a couple games, just get being able to put ears on them, on the ears and eyes on their play. They're looking good right about now. Before we move over to our next topic, got to remind you about the folks over at Guarantee Health Solutions. You'll find them online at guaranteehealth.com. I love when the tagline and the mission are basically the same thing. We're bridging the gap between healthcare and hospitality. We're bridging the gap between healthcare and hospitality. Guarantee Health Solutions was an idea born out of personal experience. Rachel Fricke, the founder, president and founder of Guarantee Health Solutions, went through a situation with a family member, and it felt so cold and transactional, and it left her wanting more. What left her wanting to find a better way, so that others, when they're trying to care for a loved one, know that the care is returned. Know that this isn't just transactional. This is a life of someone you love. What are you doing in your clinic, in your medical office, to help take care of your patients to that level? And then from there, how do you match that level of care to that level of meticulousness to running the office, to marketing, to following up, to closing the loop in marketing? Rachel's put together a 4-pillar program that can do wonders for your medical office. So if you work in the medical field, you might want to give guaranteehealth.com a quick look. 628, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Early voting opened on Saturday, and I got to tell you, the investment into text messages is not going away anytime soon. Wow, was I flooded on Saturday.
Same. And then I got a call last night from Cassidy, his team. Did you get that?
Did you get a call?
Yes, they called me.
You answer the phone,
No,
though? See,
I let it go to voicemail.
And this is the question I want to ask of our Facebook audience, because I'm always critical of political campaigning and how they go about getting their candidate's message out, okay? I have in the past ripped on people for putting giant signs in vacant lots. What does that do? Nothing. Well, it's just, you get name recognition. Okay, but if I'm seeing a yard sign in my neighbor's yard and I'm like, hey, Mr. Floyd is going to vote for X candidate, maybe I should give that same candidate a look. But
that's
if I see
more impactful.
Vacant lot, which in Baton Rouge might have a homeless tent in it, is homeless person voting for so-and-so? If you're putting your candidate's sign in a vacant lot, where's the endorsement there? Ooh, overgrown grass is voting for this person. No, it does me nothing. Now, the mailers that come out. You remember comedian Mitch Hedberg, rest in peace?
Yeah.
Yeah. He used to have a saying, when someone hands you a flyer, it's like they're saying, here, you throw this away.
Ooh.
I'm not a big mailer guy.
Now, I'm
not a big mailer guy, but I do get it. On the mailer front, I do understand their point. I understand the effectiveness of it. You get off a couple of quick bullet points about what you stand for. You get to show a picture of your family, everybody wearing white. I understand it completely. Now, the text messages in this day and age of robocalls and spam calls and constantly being bombarded, I don't understand sending out multiple text messages telling me that Julia Letlow, is the most evil person in the world.
Right.
I got no shortage of texts on Saturday that basically said Julia Letlow vacations with Barack Obama.
What?
Julia Letlow was one of the hobos at the Kennedy assassination, and she's the main reason for high cortisol. I don't know if you knew that or not.
What?
I'm exaggerating, but you get my point. Here's news.
For real. For real. You know I believe anything. No, it was a live town hall, and they were saying tune in now with this link with Cassidy Watch. I deleted the daggum, but it was like, a live town hall is going on right now, and I'm like, what? And if I don't know the number, I'm gonna let it go to voicemail.
Yeah.
Ooh, we need to clean this board, Lord.
Jeez. Oh. I opened Twitter and there's like Michael Jordan highlights. Oh, he just abused Penny Hardaway. Oh, poor Penny. Oh, poor Reggie Miller. Any Hoosers. I only got to half of my topic right there. So's Julia Letlow. Liberal Letlow is the reason for high cortisol. Liberal Letlow's gonna be in the studio at 8:15, and I'm gonna ask her. And the other one is I like the straw man arguments, like the arguments that mean nothing at all. Julia Letlow has never explained why she's so tall. She's tall. She's never had to explain it. Tell me why. What's she hiding? She's not like freakishly tall.
I would say like what, 5'8", 5'9" for a woman?
Probably.
Westman says I got that call too. So annoying. Yeah, it was something about Bill Cassidy in a live town hall at like 3 in the afternoon on a Sunday, or maybe 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But I'm like, what?
No, I may have gotten that call. I know. You know what? I think I did get that call.
Yeah,
because I'm like, the polls aren't even open today. Just
on a Sunday.
Go to bed. Go to jail. Like, go to bed.
Go to jail.
No, the SNL Fred Armisen directly to jail it's one of my favorites.
Leanne said she got that call after 8 p.m. when she was trying to get her child ready for bed.
Gross.
A live town hall.
Gross. I would directly let the candidate know. Yeah. The problem is people put too much, and I have a lot of friends who are campaign managers. Okay, people put too much in consultants and whatnot. When there are times in a campaign where, in order to justify their own existence, the consultants will just spend money on something just to get the books cleared and make their commission. Now, the ones that I know when to spend and when to hold. But like, there are times we've seen it in here. We've seen it in house where a consultant has gone in, thrown a couple thousand, written a check for a couple $1,000s and just say, just place it wherever. No thought, no strategy. Just, I got to spend this much money. Here you go. 636 Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along from the 180 Pros studio. Coming up in about 15 minutes, we're going to dive into our Moral Dilemma Monday. Bree Lynn actually sent this one over early. You got into this one early last week.
I did, because I saw that a lot of, not news outlets, but Yahoo Finance was talking about it. There was another website. I said, ooh, we got to dive into it. It's AI.
Yeah. It involves AI and your kids. So, gonna be a good one coming up at 6:52. Right now, though, before we dive back in on the political the primary season, which is open, by the way, early voting opened up on Saturday. Do need to remind you about the folks over at Neurojust, NEUROJUST. Neurojust.com is the website. If you or someone you know and love is battling with anxiety or depression. And look, let me just talk straight to you. If you're battling with anxiety or depression and you're not recognizing it completely, let me ask you this. Are you constantly feeling exhausted? Like, is everything in your mind a constant fight or flight? Just everything is the most critical decision ever, and you need rest. You need to be able to turn that off. Dial down the waves that are crashing around in your head. Oftentimes, anxiety and depression are completely either misdiagnosed or overlooked. If that's the boat you're in right now, and yeah, we'll use the boat pun because we talk about the waves crashing around in your head. If that's the boat you're in right now, give Neurojust a look. They specialize in transcranial magnetic stimulation, and your insurance will pick up the tab, by the way. Basically, this is a form of therapy that targets the area of your brain that affect mood. Non-invasive, completely non-invasive, no pills, no extended, talk it out therapy. Just a very targeted form of therapy. Almost like physical therapy for the brain, really. You can learn more at neurojust.com. Okay, as we were heading into break, we were talking about the early voting period is open right now. And I was talking about the text messages and the level of just absolute hyperbole within those text messages. Just going back and forth, the negativity really ramped up quick. It was like Ron Burgundy. Boy, that escalated quickly. BREC killed the guy. Like this, nobody killed anybody. But that it really, really ramped up fast with candidate 1 is the perfect candidate for everybody. Candidates 2 and 3 are evil. I don't know how effective that is, especially in such a short-term basis. But I wanted to bring this up, and we're going to get to congressional maps in a second. But I went to go, I made it a point last night to go look for, some, and John Fleming ad popped up in my Facebook feed. I was like, man, you know what? I really haven't, because he's on with Moon so much that I've taken for granted the amount of information that's out there about him. I was like, because I got constant access to him through Moon, right? I was like, well, it's probably should go and hear what he has to say in this spot because it's him directly. This isn't an attack ad that's coming from a third-party PAC. This is going to be John Fleming talking about John Fleming. And I clicked on it, and Bree Lynn, would you believe what it told me?
He blocked you, Brian Haldane.
It says at the bottom, you have been banned from this site.
What'd you do?
I don't know.
First thing.
I don't know.
You done pissed the man off.
Apparently so. But he's been in here. How many times has he been in here with Moon?
And he has been respectful every time.
And cordial every time.
Right.
I know. The last time he was in, we talked for a good 10 minutes.
I know. It was a good
Well, it felt
segment.
like 10 minutes because there's no way there's a break that lasts 10 minutes. But it just, let me know something. I would love to know what I did just so I could.
He ghosted you.
Didn't ghost. Banned.
Ghost.
He didn't just ghost. He banned. I mean, flat out, you have been banned from
But
this
he's
site.
not going to ban Moon.
Do what?
But he's not going to ban Moon.
What do you mean?
Like block Moon as well,
I don't think so. I texted it to Moon. I'm like, what'd your boy do?
Your boy.
It's a common term.
I know. I can't believe he. Are you sure? I would go and delete your cookies and come back and make sure it wasn't like a glitch or something.
Sure, it's a glitch. Now, to be fair, I have said in the past, I didn't think it was cool. And I said it repeatedly at the time. Okay, I kind of pounded the table on this one for a little while. I said, I don't think it's cool that you run for treasurer just so you can run for U.S. Senate.
I remember when you were saying that.
That to me, as a Louisianan, as someone who's going to the polls to vote for treasurer, we had a guy that wanted to be treasurer, and we had a guy that wanted to be senator, but he needed to step on us to get there. And you do that, and I view you looking at me as a pawn, and I wasn't cool with that. But I let that go a long time ago.
And look, when you were saying that, you were never ugly about it. You were just stating, hey, I don't believe.
Right.
I don't see. You might have tipped the ball, Brian.
Maybe. I don't know. It didn't stop me from watching the commercial, though. So if I wanted to comment on it, I'm not allowed to do that.
Right. Can't call the man nothing.
Yeah. Maybe I should start looking up other people and see who else. Or maybe I should just move on with my life because it's not worth it.
I can't believe that he banned you.
I know.
Because he is cool as a cucumber.
When he's in here, yeah.
Yes.
Just.
You know what? The nervous Nelly and me, I would text him and say,
no, I don't care. It caught me by surprise. And honestly, I find it kind of funny because I don't think it's him. I think it's somebody way down the pecking order who is so full-fledged in favor of John Fleming. And if you say the slightest thing out of sorts, banned.
I wonder if I'm blocked.
Like that Fred Armisen character in SNL.
Right.
Straight to jail. You, jail. Over there, jail. Straight to jail.
Well, now I wonder, because I didn't ever say anything about him, but I work on your show. So did they block me too?
Who the hell am I? How do I even end up on that radar?
You're famous, Brian.
I'm not. That's my point. That's some effort. Just the thought of it. All right, moving on. We were supposed to talk about the congressional maps in this segment because I'm just baffled right now with the lawsuits against shutting down the congressional voting for right now. And here's why I'm baffled by it, okay? Number one, the Supreme Court has ruled that these districts are unconstitutional. The Supreme Court has ruled that these districts are unconstitutional. Now, if you have issue with that ruling, that's fine. I understand you have issue with that ruling. But what you need to do is go back and fight to make a new map that is in agreement with what you would like to see from there. And you know you're not going to get that because it's not going to come out of this legislature. I get it. But once it's been determined that these districts are unconstitutional, how can you in good conscience send people to the polls to vote for them? I don't understand that. Also, and this is a big part of this whole equation that I think we've completely lost sight of. These are closed primaries in May and a closed runoff in June. That is, in my mind, pretty arbitrary right now. No one's being denied the right to vote for Congress because that vote in and of itself doesn't come to November. Where we stand right now, we might be looking at a worst case scenario of going back to an open primary. Oh my God, that would make Moon right. How many times has Moon said, I'm worried they're going to go back to the open primary?
He said it a lot. He says it in his promo.
I
Runs on
know.
a radio station.
Son of a... If he turns out to be right about this, I mean, a broken clock's right twice a day.
Gosh.
I'm not calling Moon a broken clock, but the number of things that have had to transpire that are beyond anyone's control, and he's going to land on go and collect $200.
Like that Alex Jones, that out of the box thinking that actually happens.
I mean, he's going to end up right. And he's coming on at 8:05.
You'll have to talk to him about it.
Yeah, we have to. Anyway, there's 4 weeks to go in the legislative session, and lawmakers are expected to begin. You heard this in news a little while ago, to begin the public debate on drawing up a new congressional district map. So we have unconstitutional maps. At issue is the 6th, the Cleo Fields district, which, by the way, not just this Supreme Court has ruled it unconstitutional. Rewind the clock back to 1994 when you're rocking your Z Cavaricis. It was ruled unconstitutional back then as well. Bernie Pincinat talked with Louisiana Radio Network. He says not only does the 6th district's boundaries need to be changed, several others need to be redrawn too. Cut 4, please.
Most of the other districts from the Baton Rouge West and North are all subject to having different configurations, and to figure all that out.
Well, it naturally stands to reason that if you're going to change the 6th, the 4th, the 3rd, and the 5th are all going to end up looking different as well. And when you change the 5th, the 1st is going to look different as well. So, I mean, all those things stand to reason. But as jacked up as the 6th is for racial reasons, geographically, the 5th is actually worse. We got 4 weeks to talk about it. Boy, are we going to talk about it. Right now, though, we do have to break. We'll check traffic. We'll check your money now. Moral Dilemma Mondays on the way next. I gotta get my Exxon talking points. Good morning, Christy.
I get a kick out of watching Judge Edwards commercials. Apparently, her campaign thinks the voting base are all from Marlboro. I can't read that. The Marlboro man. Oh no, that's muscle.
Oh.
Do you know how many moms in Terra? Because we got that email, okay, about the pool being over this weekend. And I'm in that Terra Moms group, and they're like, "Oh my God, I thought it opened Memorial Day weekend." And then one woman was like, "No, always Mother's Day." But the amount of moms that thought like me that didn't know, and we've been living in Terra.
It's Mother's Day.
I don't know why we
And then I believe it's closed back down until Memorial Day weekend.
No, it'll stay open every weekend.
Okay.
Right? Hold on, let me go to, now I'm curious. Let me go to the website. Now I'm curious.
I ran us over? Or we just... No, I didn't run us over by...
Like, just a hair. But they're always late. Like, by a second.
I thought I was out right on 47.
You were.
Well, then how was I over?
Yep, every weekend.
Okay.
So it's Saturday, Sunday until Friday the 22nd. So
Which is Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah, and then they're open every day.
Yeah. Except Mondays.
Which they changed that last year, correct? Because for the longest time they were open Mondays, I think.
No.
Never open Mondays?
Never open Mondays.
Right. Try it, please.
Okay, I missed that one. Fine. .652 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. All right, we break it down every single Monday. We step outside the news cycle for just kind of a, every once in a while a heavier topic. It's time for Moral Dilemma Monday. What happened there? Oh, that's Medical Monday. Oh, wow. By the way,
Medical Monday.
How much does the new Michael movie make this intro so fresh, right?
I love this.
Have you seen the
No, but I want to see it so bad. I hear even not to go off the deep end, but even with them stopping at the bad era,
yeah,
it's really good. Critics are raving about it.
Well, my 8th grader didn't like it.
She went go see it.
Yeah, she went and go saw it. She saw it. Yeah. So
I want to see it.
Moral Dilemma Monday. You found this one, so you run with this one. Let's go.
All right, let me pull it up. Okay. So 20% of people would let AI shop for them, ... even without their final approval. So 20% of people say it would be cool for, say, Gemini, ChatGPT, Grok, all of the 9 yards, shopping for them, grocery shopping, and making final decisions. And half of them would even let AI spend $25 or more without their approval. What?
You wouldn't?
No.
All right.
Okay.
I think I'm gonna be on the moral dilemma here is how much are we handing our lives over to our computers, right? And there's gonna be a back into this that's going to involve different parts of your life because I walked down the path here. But let me ask you this. If you were to ask ChatGPT or any LLM, write me out a grocery list that reduces our calories by 25%. So your entire family could be, write me out a grocery list that increases our vegetables intake, our good foods intake by 25%. Now, are you going to want final approval over that list when it spits it back out?
Yes.
Now, if you hired a dietitian, would you demand final approval over that list? Because they would probably say, my way or the highway. If you're paying me, you got to let me do this, right? Why would it be different for AI?
Here's the problem I have with AI. Oh, and I wish Haggai was here for this. I have trained ChatGPT. I even pay for the pro. How to talk like me. What's my personality like? I don't use M's in my writing, EMs. I don't use any of that. But still, for whatever reason, when I ask it for something, it'll shoot it back to me and I write back, I don't like this. Shoot it back to me, I don't like it. It's just, she and I go back and forth a lot. So I'm not dead set on, I would definitely maybe let a grocery shop for me, but have it spend money for me without my approval? Absolutely not.
Where are you spending more money than at the grocery store, though? I mean, seriously.
Right.
That's, and you've got multiple kids just like I do. So that's, to me, if I were to go into that world and say, all right, write me out a grocery list that's going to be healthier, I'm going to follow what it says.
Yeah. I mean, would it get it right? Absolutely. Like, as far as having you eat more vegetables, having you eat more fruit, but I still think it would still miss the mark to some degree.
Now, if you're shopping for other things, I don't think we're there yet, but we're getting close. What if I were to tell you that there was a young entrepreneur in Baton Rouge who just went through the Young Entrepreneurs Academy?
Okay.
And I want to say she finished number 2 overall this year. Oh, I gotta go back and find it. Dadgummit. I would not let AI shop for clothes for me.
No, no,
But
no,
what
no,
if
no.
they're, you know how when you go to the gym, they want to do the body scan on you?
Like you step on this thing and you hold the
and
bars.
it gives you the 360 scan, and it tells you
I think
like
it's Evolve or whatever it is.
something like that. I mean, every gym has a different one, right? What if I were to tell you that there's a young entrepreneur in Baton Rouge who has created a product that does this? It's a pedestal you step on. It does the 360. It puts all the input in to tell you how to best match your outfit to go along with that.
What?
Now, if you were to take that technology and the output from that product, the output from that, I guess it's a service.
Yes.
Take that. Now you've entered that into the AI equation. Then would you let AI shop for your clothes, knowing it has measured every square inch of your body to know what to accentuate, what to downplay, and the like?
You know what? I think I would.
I got to find this girl. I got to find her now.
So while you're doing that, so back to the article, it says those percentages. Okay, let me back up. 56% of people say they won't let AI shop for them at all. 56% of people. So it kind of weighs into what you were about to bring up.
Yeah.
But if you can perfect it to study you, do 3-dimensional, like what you were saying, would you let it purchase for you then? I think I would. I think I would.
Okay, so you're a no right now, but a maybe for the future.
Maybe for the future.
AI is going to get smarter.
It does, like, for whatever reason, and maybe that's the perfectionist in me, but when I shoot something to ChatGPT, okay, for example, I'll have a press release. I'll write it. I'll shoot it to ChatGPT and I'll say, make sure it's 100% in AP writing style, no M's, and write like I would write. It'll shoot it back to me. I still don't like it. So I'll have to shoot a prompt back to ChatGPT. So she and I already go round and round.
Yeah.
So to shop for me, absolutely not.
Okay, now, what about your kids using AI in the same regard?
Yes. I would say yes, because my oldest is 8, my twins are 7. Intellectually, they're not there yet, you know? So I think this technology and this AI could help them.
So, here's where I was going with that. We find ourselves in a rut in the Haldane household when it comes to dinner because kids only like a certain amount of things. So we get tired of making the same thing over and over again, over again. That's where I want to use AI. Help me find 5 more meals that James is actually going to eat.
There you go. More kid-friendly foods, but something
keep it healthy.
Right, for you and Christy.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
I like that.
That's where I'm at. All right. We got to, hour's already up. Put your comments in on Facebook Live. We're live on Facebook every single day, courtesy of the folks over at Lake Urgent Care. Would love to get your feedback on this topic. Here comes news.
Debbie says yes and provide recipes. So she agrees. Oh, stop. Patrick Reynolds, should AI choose what I listen to on the radio for morning drive?
I dare you. You know, it'd be some shit, Patrick, if it sent you right back here. Wouldn't that be something?
If he prompts it, it probably would. Like
if you tell AI you want local news in the morning in Baton Rouge,
you know what?
I defy AI to find something else. Find out.
But it knows me.
Right.
Hold on. I want local news in the morning in Baton Rouge. What radio station should I tune into during the AM hours?
What?
Best for local daily Baton Rouge news and talk. Talk 107.3 WBRP.
What about specifically for
Talk 107.3. Talk 107.3. Talk 107.3. I don't know. We didn't.
what? I didn't what?
Talk 107.3. I can't.
What did I do?
He's like, the bullshit. I accidentally had your program on. And he's like,
Fuck. So I just said shit on the air.
that's on me.
No, I need to know better than.
It does have your show. Mornings with Brian Haldane.
Okay.
NPR style less opinion. WRKF. Also worth knowing the other radio station.
Wow. It was not just, it was a lot of people heard it.
Tell them what's on there.
That doesn't matter. It's my name on the show. When I apologize, don't interject on it. Just let it stand.
Okay.
Seven 705 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 2 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Breland producing, holding at 52 degrees in downtown Baton Rouge as we start hour number 2 of the show. Before we get into top stories and trending, and of course we got Medical Monday coming up this hour. Patrick Robinson from LABI also this hour. I want to start off by apologizing. We had a hot mic situation right there. Thought we were off the air. Thought we were in news and we were all clear. My apologies, especially if you got kids in the car. But we'll just continue moving on and do better. But sorry about that. Something slipped out where we were supposed to be off. So, all right, top stories and trending. Let's get it. We're right back to another missing child advisory. No sooner than one gets cleared up in New Orleans, there's now a missing child advisory issued for 2 Catahoula Parish children missing since Sunday night. This is Dateline Sicily Island. Per our news partners at WBRZ, state police have issued a missing child advisory for 2 children in Catahoula Parish. 7-year-old Autumn Carlisle 15-year-old. I'm gonna pronounce this Cheyenne, Chyain, Cheyenne. Also, last name Carlisle. Both discovered missing from their Gasline Road home in Sicily Island on Sunday around 10:30 p.m. The alert actually first went out at 3 o'clock this morning. Add Cleo Fields' name to the list of congressional candidates suing over halting congressional elections with unconstitutional maps. That brings the current total of up to 11 candidates in on the suit. Baton Rouge Constable's office is conducting city court warrant pickups starting today in an attempt to address the backlog of over 100,000 outstanding warrants. How are there 100,000 outstanding warrants? Like we're just not sending them out. Is it like that episode of Seinfeld where Newman just had all the mail in his apartment?
That's crazy.
Beginning today, deputy constables, along with neighboring agencies in possession of Baton Rouge City Court warrants, will begin picking up residents with those outstanding warrants. The initiative will last until Thursday. A juvenile was struck by gunfire along Devore Drive around 1:45 yesterday afternoon when a male exited a vehicle, began exchanging gunfire with the juvenile before fleeing. Deputies said that during the exchange, the juvenile was struck in the arm. His injuries were non-life-threatening. Early voting is underway. Polls opened up Saturday. We pushed pause yesterday, of course, but they did reopen today. Early voting will run through this coming Saturday. Of course, May 16th is the actual election. What you got, Breland?
Another round of inflation, particularly at the grocery stores, expected as the war in Iran continues.
And it looks like the items that are going to be heaviest hit. Beef is going to be number one, by the way.
Man.
When it comes down to it, beef is going to be one of the biggest items hit. I've got a full list here.
You know what blows my mind? Last
What?
hour you mentioned pork. Pork is affordable.
No, pork is very affordable, and it's not going up by much either. So I got the list right here for you. You ready for this? Beef and veal. Oh, are you in that veal category? Bougie over there, Tara?
No veal for us.
No, we'll skip Tara, go straight bocage. All right, beef is expected to increase by about 6.3%. Pork, 0.4%. So less than one half. I know, it's actually decent. Poultry prices are expected to increase by 0.7%. Fresh vegetables, 4.8%. Fresh fruits, 1%. That's good.
That's still not bad.
Yeah. Sugar and sweets predicted to increase by 8.1%. And then non-alcoholic beverages expected to go up by 5.2%.
Oh, so that would be your sparkling waters and yeah. Okay.
Yeah, your Coke products.
Huh.
But wouldn't that also be considered sweet?
That's true. That's true.
Right.
But Coke is already expensive. Like if you want, I think for a 24 pack of Coke Zeros, $15. So $20 before it's all said and done.
I miss Coke. I used to drink Coke so much. I'm like completely a sparkling water guy.
I gotta have my Coke Zero.
And I love Coke. The taste of Coke Zero is fantastic. I got a text message yesterday from a political camp that said liberal Julia Letlow is the reason there's still 1 calorie in Diet Coke.
Stop.
Sorry. Those aren't going to stop.
Right.
They're not going to stop. I got more. She's going to be in at 8:15, by the way.
Gosh. She's probably listening right now.
I hope so. What else you got on the trending front?
Oh, this year's Met Gala is tonight.
Yeah. Everybody get fancy.
It's always
the weirdest stuff possible as well. You can't just like, oh, look, they look nice. It's like, oh, look, they look like a giant Lego.
right. It's supposed to be prom for adults where you dress classy, yes. But where did it start turning over the top? Or was it always over the top?
Was it? I don't know.
I don't know either.
It's one of those things I'm completely dialed out on. And then 4 or 5 of the outfits will go viral. You said somebody was basically naked last year.
Yes, Sensori, Bianca Sensori, that's her name. And I believe it was the Met Gala. I could be wrong, but it's Kanye West and his new wife. You know, Kanye loves to dress as women. Mm-hmm. Well, he had his woman dressed almost with nothing on. For I believe it was for the Met Gala. But
fantastic.
And here's the other question. How do they use the restroom dressed like that? Because, you know, when you have a whole...
if you're naked, it's pretty easy.
Oh, Lord. So it was one of the most shared articles today. Mm-hmm. And it is that, how do celebrities pee at the Met Gala? Got you. And people say, because the outfits are so insane, Dot, people avoid drinking water. Dot, need assistance to undress them. And dot, emergency hacks happen. Yes, even ice buckets. Okay, that's just
Gross.
I know, gross. All right, and what has to be the most Florida man story in Louisiana today? A man had to be rescued after rolling his tractor in Bayou Lafourche over the weekend.
In the bayou. He actually rolled into Bayou Lafourche.
Like literally.
He
the
rolled
tractor just
into
rolled
Bayou
in.
Lafourche.
Ooh.
That takes some doing.
Gosh, poor man. A Florida man.
No, he's not a Florida man.
Oh,
It's a
okay.
Florida man. This is a Louisiana man doing an
Terminology,
impression of a
yes.
Florida man. Yeah, if you had a Florida man story, it would be this. But it's not a Florida man.
Was he drunk?
I hope so.
Right.
Well, because otherwise he's got no excuse.
It's like, oh, how did that happen?
Yeah. All right, we're up at 712 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Before we take our next break, I want to remind you about the folks over at Mathern's. You know where to find them downtown on 3rd and Main. You know where to find them on LSU's campus, Nicholson Gateway Shopping Center, directly across the street from Tiger Stadium. And you know where to find them in their OG location at Kenilworth. It's actually Highland Road, just west of Kenilworth. And when they moved back in there, they redid the place. It is gorgeous. And oh, by the way, a number of fantastic local products that you won't find anywhere else posted up at that Mathern's. You want to talk about some unbelievably great like specialty meats? They've got you covered. The Mathern's at Kenilworth has got you covered for just all the seasonings, all the spices, a lot of great local products that go along with it, and a full-service grocery store back in the OG location. Always like to remind you that if you download the Mathern's Rewards app, you will get cash towards more groceries every time you shop. It's Mathern's. Last May 5th, Medical Monday.
So May 5th,
2025. Hey, kill my mic. I guess so. What's it about? Should be about stroke episode.
It's time for your weekly checkup. This is Medical Monday, presented by Our Lady of the Lake Health.
And in this week's installment of Medical Monday, we are talking about stroke. We have Dr. Michael Barraza with us. He's the stroke interventional radiologist. Dr. Barraza, welcome aboard. How are you, sir?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. It's an honor to come on the show during Stroke Month, which we're, I don't want to say celebrating because no one celebrates stroke, but we're celebrating treating and being aware of how to identify a stroke.
Yes, and definitely celebrating the fact that results are getting better day by day. The more we raise awareness, the more people learn about BFAST, the more we can have better treatment along the way. The results definitely get better. But let's start with the very basics. Let's start with the beginning. What exactly is a stroke and why is it such a medical emergency?
So a stroke occurs when the normal blood flow to the brain gets interrupted, either by a blood clot, which is called an ischemic stroke, or bleeding into the brain, which is called a hemorrhagic stroke. And this leads to disruption of normal neurologic function. And it's an emergency because without proper management, it can lead to serious debility. And it's also an emergency because with prompt treatment, many patients will experience a very meaningful recovery.
Signs and symptoms. What do folks need to look out for?
So they happen fast. We talk about sudden onset of things. We talk about numbness or weakness in the face, arm, or the leg, especially if it's just on one side of the body. Quick onset of difficulty speaking and ability to speak, words coming out wrong, even difficulty understanding speech. Sometimes we'll see confusion. Sometimes we'll see a sudden onset of difficulty seeing in one or even both eyes, difficulty walking, dizziness, loss of balance or coordination, sometimes severe headache. A story that we hear commonly is, I was just talking to this patient and I came back in the room and the patient was, my husband or wife was on the ground, was down, couldn't speak. They happen quickly.
They absolutely do. And speaking of quickly and being fast, the phrase "be fast" is out there. We've learned a little bit about it in the past, but bring us up to speed, if you will. Pardon the pun. Bring us up to speed on "be fast."
I love Be Fast. It's great. It's a mnemonic to help people identify a stroke early, which is absolutely critical to treatment and recovery. So Be Fast stands for balance, eyesight, face, arm, speech, and time. So it's some of those symptoms I talked about a minute ago, loss of balance, eyesight, vision problems, face, a facial droop is a very common sign of an acute stroke, arm weakness, see the leg as well, speech, difficulty speaking or inability to speak at all. And then the big one is time. How long has it been and how quickly can we get this taken care of?
We're talking with Dr. Michael Barraza from Our Lady of the Lake about, he's a stroke interventional radiologist and it is Stroke Awareness Month. Doc, before we get into, risk factors and who's at risk and all that other stuff, I do want to kind of talk about, like, once you see these symptoms, once they are happening, once you're in that whole Be Fast mode, getting to treatment can be very, very difficult. Obviously, if you're not by yourself, making sure whoever else is in the room is fully aware and up to speed. But if you're not, what do you do?
Call the ER. Call 911. Our EMS services are really good at identifying these signs and symptoms of stroke and getting a patient to the right hospital. We have at Our Lady of the Lake something called a Fast Alert program, which coordinates recovery efforts from the ambulance all the way to the nursing staff, neurologists, neurosurgeons, the whole team. But if you're not sure, you think it could be a stroke, treat it like it's a stroke. Call 911.
And 911 will recognize those as well, because if the speech is slurred and it's hard to get words out, and it's just even when it's not the easiest thing, 911, at least once you're on their radar, they can start moving for whatever it is.
Exactly.
All right, risk factors. Who is most at risk?
So I think one thing that is important to note is that anybody can have a stroke. It can happen to anyone, any age, any race, male or female, but they do become more common with increasing age. Some of the risk factors include high blood pressure or hypertension, high cholesterol, atrial fibrillation is a common one, diabetes and obesity. People who have a family history of stroke are also at higher risk, and smoking is a big factor, a big risk factor for stroke as well.
Smoking is a big factor for just about every week on Medical Monday. We talk about the reasons to quit smoking.
Exactly.
So let's add that into this week as well. And while we're on that, what else can folks do to help reduce their stroke risk?
So that's a really important point, is that roughly 80% of strokes can be prevented with adequate prevention and taking care of our own health. So what we need to do is control or modify the risk factors we can control. We can't do anything about genetics or age, for example, but see a doctor regularly. Consider lifestyle changes, such as maintaining a healthy weight, exercising regularly, eating a healthy diet, quitting smoking, limiting alcohol use, and managing conditions like diabetes and hypertension. All of that can significantly reduce stroke risk in each person.
We're talking with Dr. Michael Barraza. He is a stroke interventional radiologist. So let's talk about that role, your role as the interventional radiologist. What exactly do you do during a stroke intervention?
So I wear a couple different hats. I'm board certified in both diagnostic radiology and interventional radiology. On the diagnostic side, I interpret imaging that stroke patients get in the ER. But so treatment for stroke differs from patient to patient, depending on a variety of factors, including the type of stroke, the severity of symptoms, what the imaging looks like, and how long it's been since the onset of the stroke. So every patient who enters Our Lady of the Lake Regional Medical Center with stroke symptoms is going to go through a thorough but efficient workup with communication between the various members of our large stroke team to determine what the best treatment plan is. Now, where I get involved as an interventional radiologist is I help determine which patients might be candidates for me to perform a mechanical thrombectomy. And that's a minimally invasive procedure to restore blood flow to the brain in patients with ischemic stroke. For these patients, there's a blood clot blocking blood flow to part of the brain, and my goal is to get it out as quickly as possible.
When you say as quickly as possible, what kind of time frame are we looking at?
We start the clock as soon as the patient gets into the door, but for the patient, the clock starts as soon as the symptoms start.
Sure.
We time it. We talk about the door to needle time, like how quickly can we get a patient from getting into the ER door to getting on my table to having the procedure performed, and the faster the better.
No, absolutely, and that's always the key when it comes to stroke. The faster, the better. So reducing that time is always of the utmost import. That means cutting edge technology is important as well. Let's talk a little bit about where we're at technologically and the procedures you use with Our Lady of the Lake's Comprehensive Stroke Center.
So we use an artificial intelligence app to help us rapidly interpret stroke imaging in order to efficiently identify candidates for thrombectomy. Mechanical thrombectomy itself is very cutting edge. The way it works is once we've identified the patient that's a candidate for this, we quickly bring them over to the interventional radiology department, put them on a surgical bed. I'll use image guidance to place a catheter and an artery in the groin or wrist. And then what I do is I'll just snake that catheter through the blood vessels in the body until I get to the blood vessels in the neck. And then I perform an angiogram to map out the blood vessels and find the blood clot. I then take another catheter and use image guidance to guide that up to the clot and suck that out. And that will restore blood flow to the brain.
Wow.
Other things that we do, the neurosurgeons do minimally invasive procedures as well to treat hemorrhagic strokes. They'll use specialized metal coils or stents to block off aneurysms that have ruptured.
Just comparatively speaking, like this wasn't always the way. It just how much time is this knocked down? Because I feel like this is so much faster than the way it used to be.
It's getting faster by the day. We have new equipment that gets better. It seems like every month there's a new catheter that helps us get up there faster. But what it really does is it offers something. This has been around for probably 15 years, but it's gotten better. We see more candidates that are able to have this done, and what it can do is really change the course of a stroke by restoring blood flow to the brain.
We've got Dr. Michael Barraza with us for just a couple more minutes. Doc, I want to ask about the Comprehensive Stroke Center overall. What makes Our Lady of the Lake a comprehensive stroke center? What makes it comprehensive?
What made us a comprehensive stroke center was remarkable about a time and effort and dedication from the leadership of our stroke team. It's a really rigorous process to become a comprehensive stroke center. A comprehensive stroke center is a special designation given to hospitals that provide the highest level of stroke care. Comparing that to other hospitals, most hospitals are equipped to care for some strokes. A comprehensive stroke center is prepared to care for all strokes all the time, even the most complex cases. So that includes 24/7 access to advanced diagnostics, treatment, and specialists, including vascular neurologists, neurosurgeons, and interventional radiologists like myself. It also encompasses comprehensive rehab services to help stroke patients regain function and restore their quality of life. Our Lady of the Lake is actually the only one in the region, and I'm proud to be a member of our exceptional stroke team.
I want to say what's next, but what's now and what's next? What's the latest and how this care is evolving?
So the latest is a lot of it is related to time, like, optimizing our processes and efficiency to get these patients treated quickly. So on my end, on the procedural side, technology is always improving, helping to maximize the efficiency and success of clot retrievals. We're even starting to see in some places the introduction of robotics in some places, which could potentially improve access to thrombectomy in underserved areas. But another thing we're seeing are better treatments that can be given in the ER through an IV that are effective for ischemic strokes and may even keep patients from having to undergo a more invasive procedure.
What about recovery on that end? Where are we at in picking back up with once the stroke is over with, or once they've had the stroke, the recovery time? has improved the same as the the diagnosis and the treatment time has.
Brian, let me add one more thing I forgot to mention.
Yeah, go for it.
Technology. One thing that I think is coming is that, there are some devices that are being developed and researched that could facilitate identification of ischemic strokes in the field. So just to give you an example, think about a helmet in the ambulance that can identify an occlusion of the middle cerebral artery, which is one of the big ones. So then that patient gets taken directly to a stroke center where a team is ready and waiting to go straight to clot retrieval.
Okay, well, I mean that's unbelievable when it comes to that. Like, instead of having to start searching once he gets there, you're starting to search on the ride over.
Well, and it just brings us back to the point of time. We talk about time is brain, and time is probably the most important element when it comes to treating a stroke. And so, the faster a patient experiencing a stroke can get to a hospital and receive care, the higher the likelihood of a meaningful recovery. And, in the setting of ischemic stroke, especially, we're talking about brain tissue that's not getting enough blood. So restoring that blood flow faster means more of that brain tissue that's at risk is going to get saved. And so anything we can do to shave any time off, has real meaningful significance.
I'm looking at the clock, and we're going to have to wrap it up here. Fascinating conversation with Dr. Michael Barraza from Our Lady of the Lake. In our closing moments, Dr. Barraza, your message that you want to leave with our listeners with this Stroke Awareness Month is what?
Try not to have one. Do what you need to do so you don't have one. See your doctor. Optimize your health and risk factors. I love treating strokes, but it's better for you if I don't have to. So with that said, know what to look for. Make sure your family does too. If you think it's a stroke or even might be a stroke, don't hesitate. Call 911. Remember, time is brain. And if you have a choice, try to get to Our Lady of the Lake or another comprehensive stroke center.
He is like Dr. Michael Barraza. Thank you so much for a couple minutes this morning.
Thank you, Brian. I enjoyed it.
We're at 728 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. Got a little bit before we take our news break here. Got to remind you, of course, generations of Louisianans have built careers over at ExxonMobil with an industry-leading commitment to safety and a global reputation for sustainability. We believe that if you're going to operate in a place, you do it right every single day. That's the belief at ExxonMobil. That is the mantra over at ExxonMobil. And today, ExxonMobil is putting the experience to work in new ways. Through carbon capture and storage, the company is helping reduce emissions while keeping Louisiana's industry strong, supporting the jobs and suppliers that communities across the state depend on. It's the kind of work Louisiana has always done, paired with new technology, investment, and a vision for the future. If you want to learn more about it, visit laccs.com, laccs.com. Just a commitment to staying ahead of the curve and doing it right and doing it safely, laccs.com. All right, we're going to take a quick break for news, traffic, weather. When we come back, Patrick Robinson from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry is going to join us. We got a stack of things we got to talk about. We are, less than a month from the end of the legislative session. Crunch time, y'all. Time to get down to it. So we are going to dig in with Patrick in just a little bit. Don't forget, coming up next hour, Moon Griffon going to join us at 8:05. We'll talk with Moon for about, 7 or 8 minutes. There's a couple of topics I definitely want to cover. Not the least of which is, do you find it interesting that most of the people who were opposed to shutting down the congressional primaries were opposed to the early close primaries as well? We'll talk about that and a few other things. Congresswoman Julia Letlow is going to be in studio next hour as well. Right now, here's ABC News on Talk 107.3 FM. Whitney Nachman. Whitney Nachman's a junior at St. Joseph's Academy. Her business is called Perfecta. It's the 360 thing. It's the.
It'll let, after it studies you, it'll dress you.
Uh-huh.
And recommend.
Yep. Here's what should be featured. Here's what should be minimized. All of it. Where is... Oh, there's Johnston. Yeah. Is the hotline working yet?
They were able to call up. The hotline, I don't think is working, but the request line is. Because I was able to get that call earlier.
Yeah.
Hey, good morning. We're going to come to you in like 30 seconds, okay? Okay.
I don't know why this didn't print. Yes, I do. Once we're back in. Third floor. .736 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane ruling Right along. Time for us to pivot and talk about what's going on in the legislative session. We've got less than a month to go, and in the world of business, there's a lot of things being covered right now, specifically when it comes to workers' comp. I want to welcome back to the show Patrick Robinson from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. How are you, man?
I'm good, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing very well. We're getting down to crunch time. And of course, now we've got that curveball of a new congressional map added to the full-on docket. So, it's going to be mass chaos over there.
I think you're correct. I was excited last week to listen to the interview with the governor. It's not often that you have a governor come on the radio and talk about workers' comp reform. So,
right?
It's exciting to have that issue recognized at that level.
No, absolutely. And he was excited about it as well. Just noting that it's one of the highlights to come. So let's talk a little bit about what's coming up this week. I know there's a handful of bills, at least 4 of them, that I know we're going to be looking at. Where do you want to start? You want to start on the Senate side?
Yeah, everything's moving on both sides. So that's probably the best place to start with Senator Meyer's bill, SB 408.
For those that, and I'm pulling it right back up right now. Senate Bill 408, what does it do?
That is one, to give you a little bit of background on this. We have talked before about Louisiana's status as an outlier across multiple metrics on workers' comp, which includes both the amount of disability benefits that we pay, but also the medical. And, Brock Myers jumped into that, probably about right at the end of last session. And in conjunction with a resolution that Senator McMath had offered to look into the workers' comp system, Senator Myers really started digging into the medical side, has done a fantastic job of really trying to work with everybody on all sides and come up with a bill that is really probably the most significant reform on the delivery of medical benefits and workers' comp that I've seen in Louisiana, in 30 years. Among other things, it modernizes a lot of stuff. It creates an electronic billing hub, a process for reviewing treatment that is also online. So a lot of good things. Now, that said, the folks that are on the business side, the ones that are writing the checks, have some concerns about where the numbers are ultimately going to wind up. And we continue to work with Senator Myers and leadership to be sure that we don't, if our problem is we're paying too much in medicals, you don't want to fix that by paying more in medicals.
Right.
So, that bill continues to be a work in process, but it's certainly it's going to be on the Senate floor this week and moving forward.
Just from a general perspective, I like to gauge, just how far things are along the way. It is still not just possible, but probable. If something clears the Senate floor this week with 4 weeks to go, the finish line is very much still in play.
Yeah, and it seems like with workers' comp, that's always the case. Yes, it's been a weird paced session in my experience. Just seemed to go slow, and then in the last week or so, things have really picked up. Across a number of fronts, but particularly on this workers' compensation issue, where we had, gave permits to HB 780, which is a bill to address litigation costs. Went through weeks ago, but and got out of the House, but has been sitting in the Senate for better part of a month now. Senator Myers' bill has moved out of Senate Labor, but then got to Finance, and it's finally on the floor this week. And then we had 2 more, HB 1101 and HB 456, that came out of House Labor last week. So all of those bills have a lot of ground to make up, between now and June 1st, when we head off to do other things.
Let's dive in on HB 1101 real quick. That one's by Representative Mellerine, isn't it?
It is.
And if I'm not mistaken, it looks to really just put Louisiana in the same line as everybody else when it comes to I'll let you explain it a little bit better than I can, but I mean, it's when it comes to collecting benefits, it puts us in line with the rest of the world.
Yeah, it does, and that's a bill that addresses the indemnity side of workers' comp, the disability benefit.
Yeah,
I've sent you the metrics on this before, and NCCI is the organization that kind of does the actuarial work on this for Louisiana, and then for about 3 dozen other states across the country. So they got all the numbers. And you look at the scale, and they compare Louisiana with other states in the South, and they got it in just a bar graph. And you look, and all these other states are around 20,000, 25,000, and then all of a sudden there's Louisiana that's paying $45,000 compared to these other states paying half that on indemnity benefits. So it's really a striking number and a striking graphic. What Rep. Mellorine's bill does is really take that head on. You can't reduce indemnity benefits and bring them in line with what other states are paying, what other businesses are paying, without doing that. So he cuts the eligibility period from 10 years to 8 on one of the significant types of benefits. On temporary total benefits, he puts one of the problems with temporary total benefits in Louisiana is you say it's temporary, but then you got people who are on it for 5 years, 6 years, 8 years. And at some point, it's not really temporary anymore.
Right.
That's just what you are. So one of the critical parts of his bill is to say, if you're on temporary total disability benefits, it's temporary. So if you are, once you get to maximum medical improvement, you're as good as you're going to get, or you get to 3 years, it's time to shift your benefits to something else. And you can continue to receive them, but it's not going to be that type of benefit. And you may shift to the supplemental earnings benefits, or one of the other different kinds of benefits in workers' comp. So, it just, the way somebody described it to me is, workers' comp is important. It's a safety net, but it's not intended to be a lifestyle. You're not supposed to spend the rest of your career sitting on the sofa, watching soap operas and just hanging out. You're supposed to try to get back to work, and that's what this does. Right.
And there's numerous different breakdowns within what Representative Mellorine is proposing that is when you talk about the temporary ones, I believe that squeezes down to 3 years, and it's still called temporary at 3.
Yeah, even then, and that's it's all relative, Brian, because currently there's no particular cap. It could be forever. So this does put a specific maximum limit on it. Now the goal is that you and Senator Meyer's bill is kind of part of this. You push good medical treatment that's evidence-based and is going to get people back to work, and they are able to go back to some form of work much sooner than that 3 years. But the 3 year cap that Rep. Mellorine is proposing sets an outer boundary on that.
We're talking with Patrick Robinson from the Louisiana Association of Business and Industry about a couple of the workers' comp bills that are making their way through the legislative session. Sticking on that front, and we got, we're good on time. Sticking on that front, you had mentioned very briefly about another of the House bills, 456, but we didn't dive into that one. What was that? What's that one all about?
Yeah, that's Emily Chenever's bill, and of course, you remember Emily was one of the real drivers of insurance reform last year in terms of the modified comparative fault bill that she brought and ultimately was successful in. This bill that she's bringing is really just a fairness bill. One of the interesting parts about workers' comp is it's a very complicated system, lots of issues, lots of regulations. But in terms of disputes, except for fraud, when you got somebody that says they're not working and you find out they are working, or says they've never been hurt before, they had 10 accidents before. Other than those kind of cases, businesses can't file petitions with the workers' comp courts. It's just limited to them fully. So what this bill does is really restore a level playing field to that, and allow where you have a dispute, an employer has a question about whether someone has prior accidents, they need more discovery, they got a dispute about the wages that they should be receiving, but they don't want to risk being on the hook for significant penalties and attorney's fees by just cutting them off. This gives them the opportunity to file a dispute, continue paying benefits, but get a judge's input on what the answer should be and resolve the dispute that way. One of the interesting things that came up in committee on that too is that in a lot of cases, employers just don't have the tools to do investigations. You have lawyers that are really trying to prevent them from doing that, keep them from finding out information, avoid having to produce medical records from prior accidents and prior injuries. And this bill also allows them, through that dispute resolution process, to use the tools of discovery, like subpoenas, like depositions, those kind of things, to fully investigate claims and be sure that they are properly paying benefits under the Workers' Comp Act.
So when it comes to this, it's if I'm hearing you right, This is about overall lowering of litigation costs. This is about keeping all the money on the end where it needs to be, and that is, saving the business money while at the same time making the patient whole and making sure that anybody who's outside of those two areas is, not the focus of attention here.
Yeah, and workers' comp is like everything. The question is this the best way to spend our money?
Right.
We got workers' comp premiums in this state are $1 billion. On top of that, you got a lot of self-insured people. If you can cut that, and we're something like 30%, 40% over the national average. So if you cut 30% or 40% off that $1 billion plus, I mean, you're putting $300 million back into the economy that can go to, better wages, lower prices, better facilities, more jobs, all of those kind of things that are better investments of that money, better uses of that money than just paying insurance premiums, or in a lot of cases, paying attorney's fees that just go to lawyers pushing these cases.
Now, if I'm question about this one, by the way, and I probably should bring this one up to Representative Chenevert at some point, but if you've got under HB 456, okay, if you've got a claim that's going on and a claim that the company finds questionable, is there room for that claim to be moved forward on for the sake of the claimant, but at the same time be questioned in like without halting the process? Is that what I'm reading right?
Exactly, and that's what Rep. Chenevert's bill is geared towards. It allows you to use the court process, but to continue paying benefits. And the reason that employers want to continue paying benefits is that it may not be a bright line answer. It may not be something that's definitive. It may be something that needs more investigation, a deposition of various people that you can't get without that litigation process going on. But the employer doesn't want to cut them off because then it turns out you're wrong, and you find out the information and you realize they should be receiving benefits. Then you're on the hook for penalties and attorney's fees that under our system could be really significant. And, you may have a $100 error.
Right.
But then when you litigate that, you wind up paying, several $1,000s in penalties and attorney's fees for that minor error.
Yeah. When there was really no need to. In the meanwhile, we got to get one more check for you as we get closer to the end of the session, just to get a recap or a post-mortem on it after the session's over with. Either way, Patrick Robinson from Louisiana Association of Business and Industry. Thank you so much as always.
Always a pleasure, Brian. Thanks.
Thank you. We are at 749 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP, coming up on 750. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back from that break, it's time for This Day in History. After This Day in History will be hour number 3. We'll talk with Moon. We'll talk with Julia Letlow, and then we'll have the BREC Room. That's all still to come on Mornings with Brian Haldane right here on Talk 107.3 FM. Stick around. Here's Your Money Now. It's so weird. I can print the email, but I can't print the attachment within the email. It tells me the printer's offline now. Oh. $7:55 Talk 107.3 FM WBRP mornings with Brian Haldane rolling right along. Busy 8 o'clock hour means we bump this day in history up to right now. Woohoo! All right, Breland. What do you got?
1932, mob boss Al Capone entered federal prison for tax evasion.
Boom. Go get him.
I know. Known as Scarface for many years, ruthless Chicago gangster until 1931. Then the man went to jail.
Yep. Didn't stay there, but you know.
Yeah. 1959, the first Grammy Awards took place. Ella Fitzgerald became the first Black woman to win a Grammy. I didn't know.
Well, it was the first Grammys. So basically, like.
I know. Why is.
Why even say that? Like, I read the exact same thing you did, by the way.
I'm like, wait a minute. So what? Okay.
Yeah, she's the first Black woman. It would happen on day one.
Right. I guess during that time, though, it was notable to put something because wasn't segregation still happening during that time?
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, it was before the Civil Rights Act. So, yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Frank Sinatra also won on that night. The Kingston Trio won on that night. But it's like
in our article, didn't they to put those two as well?
Okay. Well, I had to go back and look further. So,
right.
Yeah.
All right. 1970, the Ohio National Guard troops opened fire at Kent State, killing 4 students and wounding 9. Why? I never learned that in the history books.
Really?
That's massive.
The Kent State Massacre? Really?
Yes.
Okay. I am curious, and by the way, shout out to Morgus for sending this one over to me, by the way. The Kent State protest led to the song Ohio by Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Is that accurate?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
But what I'm curious about today, and I'm going to change his wording up a little bit. What I'm curious about today is how many of the protesters from Kent State now have grandchildren who were at No Kings protest in the last week or two.
Whoa.
Right? Just carrying that family tradition.
Man.
Huh?
Interesting. Okay.
By the way, also, if we're shouting out Morgus, who sent me some stuff over there via the This Day in History, fresh from the New Orleans Ice House, by the way. 1962 was President Kennedy's last visit to New Orleans.
Oh, wow. Because November of this same year.
The next year.
Next year.
63.
Okay. Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
In 1992, jumping ahead, the U.S. Army and Marine Corps forces arrived in Los Angeles to end the rioting following the acquittal of 4 police officers after the beating of Rodney King.
I got to go back to 1968, by the way. Your first ABA champion was crowned. It was the Pittsburgh Pipers. But who'd they beat for the first ABA championship in 1968? The New Orleans Buccaneers.
I was like, wait, it's going to be New Orleans.
Of course it is.
In 1994, a British lawmaker used May the 4th be with you in Parliament, helping lock in Star Wars Day, the pun.
Which we'll get to at the end of the segment.
Yes.
This day in 2012, Dollar Bill Jefferson reported to prison for his bribery conviction.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
I'm going to jump ahead. Well, no,
Yeah,
I have to.
Well,
We
got to get birthdays and deaths. I mean,
let's go ahead and get some birthdays in.
All right, who you got?
Let's see. Hang on. You go ahead first while I'm opening
1929, Audrey Hepburn. 1941, George Will. 1978,
Yes.
Aaron Andrews. 1979, acquaintance of the show, Lance Bass. And 1989, one Rory McIlroy.
And I also have Randy Travis, 1959.
Boom, there you go.
All right.
Any deaths?
Notable deaths. I don't have anything that's worth anything.
I've got 2. I've got Adam Yauch from the Beastie Boys.
Okay.
Died on this day in 2012, and Dom DeLuise died on this day in 2009.
I had them both. I should have said it. Okay.
Don't ever disrespect Dom DeLuise.
Right. National Day today. May the 4th be with you, Brian.
Of course, may
Star
the 4th
Wars
be
Day.
with you. Yes.
My
it
boys
is Star
love
Wars
Star
Day
Wars.
today. So yes, I need to go back and rewatched all the Star Warses with my oldest. Middle child's not really into it. I need to go back with James and just start from the beginning and run all the way through
and watch them all from the beginning. Yep.
Yeah. All right. That was This Day in History. That was hour 2. We are taking a quick break for news, traffic, and weather. Hour 3 is next. Oh. Bless you. Bless you.
This is Bloomberg Money Minute. As the airline industry faces lots of uncertainty, Delta plans to give its employees a 4% pay raise this year. Airlines are
Oh. Yes. You did? Okay.
Hey, man, good morning. That's okay. I figured you knew we were calling you early. Oh my gosh, you busy. Okay, we'll be coming to you. There you go. We'll be coming to you in like a minute, okay? Okay. (8:06) Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP, mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Hour 3 coming your way right now. Brian here with you, Bree Lynn producing. We got a stacked up hour. The back end of the hour is going to be the BREC Room. Folks from BREC will be coming by. 8:15 to 8:30, we're going to have Congresswoman Julia Letlow in studio, which means right now we're going to flip-flop the rundown here and bring Moon Griffon in. He's usually here at 8:15, but he so graciously moved up a little bit to accommodate the Congresswoman. How are you, sir?
Well, I'm doing great, man. When you watch the Tigers this weekend win 3 in a row, we ain't seen in a long time. I was really happy for them. I'm hoping and praying they'll make the turnaround the next 2 weekends. I really this team has not been that good, but boy, I tell you, it's fun to watch them this weekend.
You got to pull 2 out of 3 for the next 2 weekends, and then hopefully score at least 1 over there in Hoover as things move forward. Yeah, it was impressive to watch. I'll tell you what, more impressive than what happened at Alex Box Stadium. Did you see what happened at Tiger Park on Saturday?
No.
Beth Tarina and her softball team.
You talking about the point?
25 to nothing.
Brian, you read about that kind of stuff, but you think it never happens by you. When I saw that score, I went, what happened? Was the team that bad? LSU was that good? A combination of both?
Auburn is weak, and LSU's hitting their stride. It is a combination of both of them. LSU's hitting their stride at the right time, but Auburn is definitely not the best, to be sure.
But I got to tell you that it's 25-0. It's almost sound like they played a T-ball team.
Totally.
Wow. You don't see that much.
Totally. All right. So we got a lot to cover here. I want to start with, we have early voting started on Saturday, and there's a whole lot of people really, really mad that congressional races have been pulled off the ballots, or at least that'll be closed off. I don't know if they're physically on the ballots or not, but there won't be congressional races during this particular election, like this particular May 16th election. It's going to be pushed back. We're kind of in limbo as to where it's going to go from here for the congressional races. But Moon, I'm finding it amazing. Everyone who is opposed to pulling it off the ballot for the May 16th race was also opposed to closed primaries when it was pushed through last year.
Yeah, good point. But yeah, they ought to be excited, is what you're telling me.
Yes. And by the way, are you about to back your way into the greatest prediction ever?
Why is that?
Open primaries. I mean, if we lose out on closed primaries this early, the likelihood that we could revert back to them on the back end, that door is now open, sir. And I don't know how. You could have even come close to seeing anything like this. We were talking about it earlier. You just backed your way into one of the greatest predictions ever.
Well, Brian, what happened was, though, there was the way it was set up with the closed primaries, if we go back, was done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you do something wrong, just like the Cleo Fields district was done wrong, look at the chaos it's caused. With the closed primaries, by allowing people like me, no party, to go vote, was wrong. And then we just did it for the congressional races, Bessie, we had Bessie and Supreme Court judge justice races.
Yeah.
And it might be Public Service Commission. So you kind of handpicked the ones you wanted. That was not right. So it started out bad. Normally, when a bill starts out bad, I'm just looking at it from my perspective, it ends bad.
Well,
the Cleo Fields district started out bad, and it's now ended bad. You see what I'm saying? When you start that bad, you don't start with fundamentals, it's going to end bad. So really, it wasn't a great prediction as much as I'm just watching this for a while. And when you screw up early, it messes up late. So that's what I think happened. I think it's a natural process. And I think in our lives, it's like that too. If you start off at the beginning doing something, lying, not doing what you're supposed to do, it ends up bad on the backside.
But the thing is, we didn't screw up the closed primary part. We screwed up the congressional district because we ignored what a 3-judge panel said back in 1994, that this district was already unconstitutional. We knew it was unconstitutional. 30 years worth of precedent said it was unconstitutional. And we went back and we did it again just to meet a racial quota. And lo and behold, you got to have more than that to create a district.
I know, but there were people that didn't like the closed primaries because of the way it was set up. That's what I'm saying. I remember all that. And Brian, tell me if I'm wrong, but I think there's some bills that would like to get rid of it. And I've seen it out of Cameron Henry's mouth that they'd like to do away with it. So there's some people that never wanted it. Once again, Senator Cassidy, as you know, I'm not a big fan, but Cassidy, I'm surprised he didn't drop a lawsuit saying, hey, I got to run in the closed primaries, but the congressional district may not. Now, we don't know that right now because nobody knows that the legislature's been off this the 5th day in a row that they're playing golf today. So I'm just saying we don't know, and maybe that's by design. We'll just wait and do something after May 16th.
They actually are literally playing golf today.
I'm not thinking that's what they're doing. It's
the thing. It's elephant
something.
stomp. It's just one of those phrases you can toss out there all the time. Today just happens to be 100% true. They are literally playing golf today.
By the way, you laughing at something because of the way I said it.
Right.
You know I'm not making it up.
Oh, I know. We got Moon Griffon for just a couple more minutes here. So closed primaries, I mean, everything is in limbo right now. I don't know how to make heads or tails of it because I don't know where you go from here. You can't go back and reinstate that we're going to have the congressional races in this closed primary because now we've had a full day of early voting where a whole lot of people went to the polls on Saturday, and I have no idea what the number is, but people went to the polls on Saturday and they were told, hey, no congressional race in this one. So you can't go back and redo it now. The safe thing to do now is just scrap anything that voted in the congressional election and rehold a congressional election.
Yeah.
Before
by the way,
November.
that's what they're going to do.
Yeah.
But they got to draw a district first, Brian. And I got a district. I know there's one. I think it's 116 from Morris. They need to grab one and go with it. They don't need to jack around, because let me tell you something. The courts are looking at us going, hey, if we don't trust y'all, we're going to draw it. Well, that's what Jeff and them started out last time. Well, we don't want the courts to draw it. But then get to work. Get to work and do something ASC. There's four or five districts in the legislature right now, and there's one good one that I know of, maybe another one, that they could run on right now and get it done. But let's see how much time they take. I don't know why they're taking time on this.
No, me neither. Me neither. We got Moon Griffon for exactly 2 more minutes, which is enough time to plug the debate coming up, man. Tell me all about it.
Yeah, Brian, I'm excited about the opportunity. I wish Cassidy was coming, but he's not. But if you saw the setup we have over here, we have some people we've brought in that know how to do this. It's very professional. It's going to look like a TV debate, but it's going to be on radio too. I know we're on YouTube, Facebook. We got TV stations that will be streaming it as well. So you're going to be able to look at this thing in many, many different ways. And we got them coming in. It's a basic, simple format. 2-minute open, 2-minute close. We'll flip a coin. And then it's going to be 2-minute answers with 1-minute rebuttal. And I will allow the candidates, like somebody says something, we go through and they say, well, I want to say something else. I'll let them have 30 more seconds than 30 seconds. I'm going to dictate that pretty much. Keep it. I got a timekeeper to keep it really close.
Nice.
Jeff Bomfour is a KTBS out of Shreveport. I want to get somebody up north. Will come and ask questions. The questions will not be shared with each other. I told him to ask whatever he wants. I'm going to ask questions. Some of them will be pointed a little bit because of the accusations. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Some of them will be issues that you and me care about, like healthcare costs and energy costs and economy and military and things of that nature. So that way they have to answer, how would they fix the debt that's going to be $41 trillion in October? So just little things like that. And then, of course, they've accused each other of stuff, too. And so they'll get a chance to shake that up a little bit. So I'm looking forward to that. I think it's going to be good. It's really being professionally put together. If Moon don't screw it up, I think we got a shot. I
think you're going to handle it very well. In the meanwhile, we got to scooch because we got one of those candidates going to be in studio over here next. Moon Griffon, you catch him 9 to noon right here on Talk 107.3 FM and statewide every day. Always appreciate the time, brother.
Thank you, Brian. God bless.
God bless. We'll talk to you real soon. All right, coming up next, Congresswoman Julia Letlow is in studio.
Hi, good morning. Oh my gosh, it's so good to meet you in person. I know, I love your voice when I call. Oh my God, I got the whole accent. I love it. So, where do you want these?
That tape's on, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
As long as you don't take it.
Yeah, let me go. I'm
Brian.
Nice to meet you.
All right, let's roll.
You ready?
Yeah.
Okay. How long were you in town for?
Oh, 2 weeks. Till the
good.
election.
Good,
Yes.
good.
Yeah, we are rocking it.
I ordered my Julia sign for my card. I never got it.
Oh, yep. We'll get
Yeah,
it for you.
I need to get a sign from you.
Yeah. Catherine, do you have any signs in the back of the lighting?
I do. I ordered one on the Google form and that was 2 weeks ago, so I'll grab one from you.
Oh, 100%. I'll do it now.
Okay,
Play a little regulators for me.
Oh, hey.
I just kidding.
Can you play regulators on the way back in?
Sure.
Thank you. I'm never I'll go the rest of my life. I'm never gonna forget that day, and I will always be pissed that your mic wasn't hot.
I did. I was just singing the whole song.
Did you catch any of the show this morning at all? Oh my gosh, Brian was
Well,
so, he was fired
did you
up.
catch my tweet over the weekend?
So I heard that somebody blocked you last night. Is that?
Kill. It is 8:18, Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. Got Congresswoman Julia Letlow in with us, and I have to steal 60 seconds from her to remind you about the Baton Rouge Metro Airport. FlyBTR.com is the website. FlyBTR.com. Daily flight to and from D.C. leaves out in the 6 o'clock hour. You come home same day. Get your business done in our nation's capital same day. Sleep in your own bed. FlyBTR.com. Also, it's not too soon to start looking at flights for LSU football season. Delta specifically has built out direct flights from Baton Rouge to Lexington and back, from Baton Rouge to Knoxville and back. And then there's a couple of away games where they'll bring you here, where you bring your friends here. If they're coming in from Clemson, Alabama, and one more, I want to say it's Texas A&M. Learn more about all that over at flybtr.com. All right, we are down to crunch time for the May 16th election. I want to welcome Congresswoman Julia Letlow back to the studio. How are you?
It is so good to be back in studio with you, Brian. I'm great this morning. How are you?
I'm fantastic as well. Always love having you in here. We got a lot of ground to cover on the campaign front, but I kind of want to start with business because you are still a congresswoman who's still working for us.
Thank goodness.
So the wrapped up work in DC, what was it last
Thursday?
Thursday. Yes. Sorry. The weekend was a long one.
You.
We had AAU tournaments, we had volleyball tournaments, which was everywhere. Anyway, last Thursday, wrap it up. Tell me a little bit about what actually got passed to end this unbelievably long partial shutdown.
My goodness, we have gone back and forth with the Senate, but we finally made some headway to reopen DHS. So grateful about that. I know I've talked about it at nauseum about how important it is that FEMA's up and running for Louisiana, how important it is that our employees, our federal employees, have access to the paychecks that they've earned. So grateful that we were able to get that through. Brian, this is so incredibly awesome. So we have not had a farm bill since 2014. Thursday, I was able to vote yes on a farm bill,
which is unbelievably great. And we have Ag Commissioner Dr. Mike Strain in once a month, and I know he's got to be giddy over this because there's so many things just left in limbo, so many things left in question, so many things you got to borrow from Peter to pay Paul to keep everything floating.
Right. And our farmers, what a risky career they take. I mean, every year to plant and pray that the weather cooperates, that everything goes according to plan so that they can help us put food on our table. So we have to be there for them. I'm so grateful that we passed that through the House. The Senate needs to get it done.
Yeah. And when we think weather, like here in Baton Rouge, when we think weather that would affect our crops, we think of hurricanes, right? Interestingly enough, though, I mean, 2020 and 2021, we had our fair share, right?
That's right.
But since then, we've had wildfires, snow, blizzards, freezes. It's been everything but hurricanes for the last couple of years. So they have to deal with it on numerous fronts.
That's right. And it's not just that. So we experienced drought in 2024 that decimated the crawfish season.
Oh, yeah.
And so we were able to add in language to get crawfish included in the ELAP funding. So that was a huge win that we got in the farm bill. So just so grateful to
I've
all
always
the
been
wins.
curious about that. Why are crawfish considered farmers? Why are crawfishermen considered farmers and not like fishermen?
Well, because a lot of their fields they use for rice as well, so they'll convert it over to crawfish. So they're included in there.
All right. I mean, it's something. It's just one of the things that's always been kind of like
specialty,
but it's an animal. It's a crustacean. So someone who fishes for crabs is not is not a farmer. So anyway, it's just one of those little things. All right. We're getting to the home stretch of the campaign here. Early voting's actually already opened on Saturday, and boy, my phone was blowing up Saturday. I got to tell you. And by the way, I did not know this about you, but based off of the text that I got on Saturday, you vacation with the Obamas.
Oh, do I?
No,
okay, that's a new one.
You were one of the hobos at the Kennedy assassination.
Oh,
and
great.
apparently you're responsible for high cortisol. That's all the things. Liberal Letlow is the reason there's still 1 calorie in Diet Coke. Has everyone lost their minds at this point in the race?
Yeah, I think it's turned into complete desperation at this point. And oh my goodness, I just feel sorry for Louisianans as a whole to be bombarded by all of this negative messaging. If I had my way, Brian, my goodness, we would all run positive campaigns and just run on our hopes and dreams and visions for Louisiana instead of all the mudslinging. But unfortunately, that's not where we are today.
No, I know. And I am with you. And I think a lot of people outwardly are with you. but it works.
Yeah.
Because nobody would put money in if it didn't work, right?
Yeah.
So it's a sad state of affairs.
Mhm.
You've got a big debate coming up tomorrow, though.
Tomorrow.
And we were just talking to Moon a minute ago.
Great.
So I want to kind of rewind. How experienced are you at this? So this kind of feels like new territory. As long as you've been around, this is kind of new for you.
Yeah. So, actually taught communication courses in higher education, but
Letlow. Sorry.
So ready to counter, with those attacks. But yeah, I mean, this will be my first official, big debate.
Wow.
So, yeah,
okay.
I know, yeah.
And you're stepping into, Moon's territory at that.
Yeah.
So,
excited to do that.
What are you going to be prioritizing in it? And this is going to kind of dovetail. We're going to have the conversation of debate prep with what your constituents are looking for here, because obviously what you're going to talk about is what you're mirroring on the campaign trail.
Right.
So what are you prioritizing tomorrow?
Yeah. So everything that I hear on the campaign trail, and again, this is personal for me as well, but what are you going to do to protect our families and make sure that we can raise our children in Louisiana? That has been an overwhelming thing that I hear over and over again. How are you going to make sure that our communities are safe, that my kids can go play in the cul-de-sac every night after school?
Right.
So, just talking a lot about that, immigration, the border, talking about fentanyl not coming across our border anymore. That has been so important to, every poll that we've run, immigration is still at the top. Border control is still at the top. So people are very concerned about that, but also the economy, affordability is top of mind as well. And we know how to best counter that in Louisiana. That's unleash domestic energy. We do it best here, right in Louisiana.
Yes, we do.
And I've been learning all about that and how important it is. I've always known how important energy production was for Louisiana, but it's not until you go and you visit the refineries and I went out on my first platform experience a couple of years ago with Leader Steve Scalise. That was such an eye-opening experience because I got to see a project that started 10 years prior and was just about to go online and had been started and stopped because of administrations, President Biden. So just talking about deregulation and how important that is, those jobs are for our communities in Louisiana. And then, me, my background, my passion is education.
Of course.
Yeah. So I'm going to be talking about that a lot.
Which is going to be a good one. And the getting back to the economy and the affordability here, we're in a lot of mess worldwide right now, and a lot of our affordability is due to that mess worldwide.
Right.
How are you going to respond to questions about, obviously you have the president's endorsement,
Mhm.
which is a big endorsement to get. The president threw his support behind you.
Right.
At the same time, though, he's dealing with Iran right now.
Right.
And that dealing with Iran affects our affordability back home.
Sure.
How are you going to approach that question?
Well, every time that I've witnessed the president, act, especially in moments like this, where I am 1,000% convinced that it is on behalf of American lives and the American people.
Mhm.
And so, when you talk to most Louisianans, everyone agrees that Iran should not have nuclear capabilities.
Oh, 1,000%, yes.
Across the board. And I honestly do not feel like he would have attacked in the way that he did if there wasn't a legit reason where American lives could be at stake.
Mhm.
And so I believe that wholeheartedly. Everyone I talk to in Louisiana seems to have that same consensus. So yes, it's a little bit painful right now, but I'm hopeful that they can act swiftly. Iran will come to the table, come to their senses, and we can get back to lower gas prices and affordability in Louisiana. We have to.
No, I know, because you lower gas prices, you lower diesel prices.
That's
specifically. The price of everything else can finally come back down.
Mhm.
And until that happens, affordability just can't.
Right.
It's but like you said on the front end, is if it weren't a matter of national importance that Iran not be nuclear,
Right.
then we wouldn't be messing with this.
Right.
We've got Congresswoman Julia Letlow in for a couple more minutes. Let's talk about on that education front, because that's where one of the negatives is going to be slung at you, is your background in education.
Mhm.
Your rebut to that. I mean, if you don't want to share it right now, you want to keep it as like a
I've been sharing it all
jab to slip tomorrow. I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
I'll sit back and listen like everybody else. But your response to that, I think, is going to be important.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So back in 2020, when I was applying for the presidency at the University of Louisiana Monroe, DEI was presented to us as a tool that could help students achieve the American dream, that would encourage them to do that. I witnessed it, Brian. I was there. I was at the university. I witnessed the left completely hijack DEI and turn it into this leftist Marxism. I mean, it wasn't about encouraging people to build themselves up, work hard. It was about holding people down, meeting quotas. And I mean, it even went so far, Brian, to the left that now we're having to fight against biological men being in women's sports.
Right.
So once I witnessed this for the last 5 years, I've spent almost every single second that I have in DC fighting against it. That's why I authored the Parents' Bill of Rights, because DEI not only was in higher education, it trickled down into our K through 12 administration. So I've spent the last 5 years, I sponsored the End Woke in Higher Education Act. I just dropped the Dismantle DEI Act. And so our federal, employees don't have to be involved in that. So I'm going to continue fighting it. Fought it in the House. Look at my record, but also in the Senate as well. Yeah.
We've got 1 minute left with Congresswoman Julia Letlow before we got to beat news here at the bottom of the hour. And of course, hand it off to the BREC Room right after this. So in this last minute, let's talk about the home stretch. What are the plans here as far as is mapping out the whole state?
Yes.
Are you about to go on a ridiculous tour or what?
Ridiculous. So we've been doing it all throughout the campaign, but no one is going to outwork me here, Brian. I've crisscrossed the state numerous times, and we'll continue to over the next 2 weeks. But I have to tell you, that is such an incredible experience because you learn so much from people, going down and learning about how important coastal restoration is. I've always known it, but to go down to Houma and talk to people and listen to them and the challenges that they've been facing, that's not something that I've always been able to do representing, Northeast Louisiana.
Right.
So this has been such an enlightening educational tour as well.
She is Congresswoman Julia Letlow on the ballot for Senate, which is actually open right now. If you wanted to head over to the Secretary of State's office, or the State Archives, I should say. Our early voting is underway. Congresswoman, always appreciate the time.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Here comes news, traffic, weather. We got the BREC Room next. That went way too fast.
Clear?
Yeah, no, we're good.
We're still on Facebook.
Well, no, let's because we got to rotate.
We'll do rapid.
It's 8:35 at Talk 107.3 FM WBRP. As we do every Monday, we get into the 8 o'clock hour and we turn things over to the folks from BREC for the BREC Room. We've got Janet Maurice in with us. How are you?
Doing great this morning. How are you this morning?
Doing very well. Actually, I'm a little bit disjointed. I don't want to lie to you. I'm a little bit disjointed this morning and looking all over for my notes.
That's all right. The weather outside is beautiful, so
yeah,
can't go wrong with that.
No, I know. I don't know how we got so lucky with the big rain on Thursday and Friday to come back out and stave off summer just a little bit longer. So
it's unbelievable.
I tell you what, give me like 10 seconds to get myself back in order here. I apologize. I'm eating up y'all's time.
That's
I know
all
we're
right.
doing that.
I'll fill that time with something that you talked about before with Our Lady of the Lake Stroke Center. My dad had a massive stroke back in the 90s, and we got him to the hospital in less than an hour. Wow. And they completely reversed that stroke.
That's incredible.
And he lived another 5 years.
That is incredible. Very good stuff.
I was listening to that earlier, and now the technology that they have is amazing. It's even better than they had when my dad had his stroke. So
very good stuff.
Very crazy.
All right. I know it's in here because I printed it. I know I printed it. You've got via your phone right here. Well, then let's go ahead. Let's go ahead and start off with the search for the new superintendent.
Yep.
Where are we at right now? Because you're carrying that interim title, and I don't believe if I've ever asked you where it goes from there.
Okay, that's interesting. So the new superintendent search is underway, and it very well underway. We've got 3 candidates coming in to start tomorrow, and they'll be here the whole week. So tomorrow they'll be coming in. They'll be introduced to the team. The entire BREC team. So whoever wants to come, we've got an internal town hall at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. And any current employee that wants to come to that is welcome to come and talk to them and interview them. Basically, we're going to be taking questions ahead of time so they can interview. And then we're going to go on a tour all afternoon to different BREC parks.
Okay.
We'll end up at one of our biggest BREC parks, the zoo. And then we'll go from there. And then they'll be interviewing with other groups, like one-off groups on Wednesday and Wednesday morning, Wednesday afternoon. And then Thursday is the big day of interviews.
Okay.
For the commissioners.
All right. And then after that, what are we looking at like deadline wise? I mean, is it kind of open-ended right now?
It's still kind of open-ended. We're looking at a transition. So Maurice likes to look at it like this. The new superintendent comes in and we go out, but not immediately.
Preferably not, preferably creating a crossover so we can bring a lot of the transition in a flow. There, a lot of things have gotten established.
Yes.
Okay, which is really the call for us was to come in and try to standardize and to stabilize things, and so now we want to be able to hand it off to the new quote administration. So therefore, we're looking at a couple months of transition. At least that's the goal.
Now, BREC is huge.
Huge,
I couldn't help but notice you talk about, town hall meeting, bringing BREC employees around. How important is it that the new superintendent mesh well with the current workforce?
Absolutely critical.
Absolutely. One of the
So you're not just looking to bring in like a general to fire everything. Bring somebody to roll in. These are my way of doing things.
One of the first things we did when Janet and I came in is Janet immediately went out to the shops, and she's pretty much stayed consistently visiting shops, visiting parks, and getting down at the frontline level. And it's been really important for the CEO, like at the top, to have a regular conversation with the front lines at the bottom, because it opens the conversation. And so we hope that that's the same style. While she did that, I dove into the middle of the organization, met with all the managers, and basically got to know the middle of the organization. So we've tried to keep that rhythm with her opening up the lines of communication with the front lines, me in the middle, and hopefully set the pattern for the new team to come on and do the same thing. Introduce them to everybody and build what we've built and the relationships that hopefully we built, pass it over and make it easy for everybody.
Right.
Not start from scratch.
That being said, what are a few of the qualifications we look for?
So, somebody who has experience in running a business, right? Making sure that we're not doing 2 steps forward and 1 step or 3 steps back. And so somebody who has high qualifications in organizational skills, business acumen, municipality acumen as well. Of course, that's important. We did not require parks experience as a requirement initially. It's something that they will have to get as they move forward. If somebody comes in and doesn't have their NRC, NRPA
certification,
right, then they can go back and get that while they're here. But that was not a critical criteria for us. Just more long-term organizational skills, being able to manage a team of people and a budget.
Right.
And, making sure that they're very good at what
that
they
was
do.
at first a little controversial, but it's made sense over a few months of debating it and discussing it. Organizational alignment is pretty much where large organizations really fall down.
Yeah.
They're subject matter experts at what they do, but organizing a team in a flow of communication, alignment, problem solving, project management, basically business organizational alignment skills. And so what the candidates have what we've been looking for is primarily that. Oh, and it'd be great if they have a parks and recreation experience.
Right. But I mean, the business itself, I mean, the business of parks, you can learn the particular business along the way. It's having that acumen as more of a CEO type than anything else.
There's no comparison.
Right.
For example, Katrina, Steve Knight, folks that have been in the business for 5, 10, 15, 20 years, there's subject matter expertise that you get that we're always catching up and learning. However, what we've learned in 8 months is because those subject matter experts are in the building and we have an open conversation with them. So yeah, definitely what it needs more than anything is a consistent shot in the arm of organizational alignment.
One more thing too, I think it's important to know is that we've got 3 incredibly capable candidates.
Yes.
And so that's something that I'm super excited about. And those names will be released later this morning through a press release after we identify them to the team.
Okay. All right. Well, we will be on the lookout for that to be sure. And that is the latest on the superintendent search. Let's move over to, well, we're already in May right now. We're less than 2 weeks away from the May election. The following month, there's going to be another election. BREC is on the ballot for this one.
June 27th.
Yeah. But one of the more important things that I like to remind folks of is when something is a new tax versus something is a renewal.
Correct.
This is not new by any stretch of the imagination.
That's correct. This is a renewal, and it's for our maintenance and operations. So if you want your parks to be continued to be maintained and operating, you need,
so
we need to go that route.
Yeah,
right.
At a dinner that I was in last week, the comment was made. The comment was made is, well, we want to be more efficient with our taxes. We don't want to vote for this tax because we want to save taxes. And what BREC needs to be about is taking care of the parks.
Right.
And I said, well, do you know that that's what this tax is for? This tax is to fix the parks.
Right.
It's an operational, it's a maintenance tax. And so if you're going to cut taxes, if you're going to save taxes, this is not the tax to consider. It's a renewal tax, and it's primarily exclusively for the taking care of the parks.
Now, it's just for the nuts and bolts of it. It's just shy of 4 mils. It's a 3.96 mil renewal over the course of 10 years, which is the interval you'll have always had. Most of the public, most of the millages we vote on are for a 10-year interval here in Baton Rouge. So it is a 3.96 mil for a period of 10 years. Now, as far as the overall, the maintenance and everything, I think, y'all have been coming on this show for we're doing this a couple months now. Yeah. I just, how eye-opening it is to see how much there is when it comes to maintenance and operation.
Yeah.
I mean, just the number of parks that we have, the amount of services that are offered out there, how difficult is it to get that message out as a whole to say this is everything we got going on?
It has been very difficult, which has also gotten confusing, and to control the narrative has been tough. But I think we're making some headway, which is why the dual effect of we have lots of parks to take care of, and that's what we're trying to get rid of some parks that we shouldn't be taking care of.
Right.
Why? Because the funds only carry so much, so we're having to cut ourselves thinner than we should, and therefore some parks aren't taken care of as they should. So basically, it's really being fiscally responsible with the parks themselves and decrease the inventory so we can take better parks of the ones we keep.
Tell you what, go ahead and finish that thought.
One more thing is that the operations center that we're putting up, the security operations center, should help us to reduce the vandalism that we're having in the park. So that'll really help with the maintenance and operations.
Absolutely. I mean, fixing things that weren't supposed to be broken. If you can remove that from that P&L sheet, that'll go a long way. All right, it's time for us to get to our special guest of the week. We're talking with Dodie Falcon this week about the CIT program, counselor and training program, that is. Good morning. How are you?
Good morning.
Let's get you right up on that mic. No, you pull it towards you.
Oh, okay.
There
That-
you go.
That works out better. Thank you.
Absolutely. Tell me about the counselor training program. What is it? Who does it target?
Our CRC program is going to target teens between the ages of 14 and 17 years old. They are going to help and volunteer with our camps. So all of our camps that we have in BREC, we have many different camps, hundreds of camps available all summer long. And we wanted to create an opportunity for teenagers to get more involved in their community and also to develop some kind of responsibility. So we're giving this opportunity for ages 14 to 17-year-olds to help and volunteer with us. Also, it doesn't cost anything. It's a 100% volunteer program, and they can apply online. And the cutoff date to apply is May 5th. May 11th.
Oh, I was going to say, it'd be tomorrow.
No.
So, add
May
a week,
11th.
add a week. So a week from
Yes.
today is what we're looking at here. Who are we looking for? I know you said 14 to 17-year-old, but I'm sure there's a personality makeup that probably would be more attractive.
Well, we want someone that is going to commit. So we have a cap, we're trying to get each of the teenagers in the CIT program to commit at least 100 hours of their time during the summer, which is totally doable because summer is so long. But if they don't quite reach it, it's okay. But we are looking for responsible teenagers. They will have to have a teacher's letter of recommendation to apply.
Okay.
They can also use the hours towards their
Service
school
hours?
service hours. Right?
Oh, that's big. That is big.
Yep.
Now, having sent my kids to BREC camps in the past, I know that the kids who are counselors at BREC camps have a level of enthusiasm and positivity for it. They're not just there to kill time, to kill off those service hours.
Not there just
There's that's what I was going to with
We want
the personalities you're looking for.
Yeah, we want them to be a role model for the camps. A lot of those kids need someone to look up to that besides the actual camp counselor themselves. So kind of like a big sister, big brother situation.
To go along with I need to keep one eye on the clock here to make sure we hit our traffic on time. To go along with that teacher's recommendation letter, what else is needed from them?
They need a copy of their current report card. So whatever last report card they have, we want to kind of take an account for how well they do in school, how high their GPA is. We don't have a limit on the GPA, but we just kind of wanted to, keep that in mind.
Okay. So while it's not, there's not a GPA requirement, bring the report card in anyway, because it goes into your overall, your overall resume.
Correct.
Other than that, I mean, you just got to show up for orientation as well, right?
Yeah, they have an orientation. We have 3 days of orientation. They only have to attend one orientation. We're going to go over the rules, regulations, and what is expected of them during their service time.
We've got about a minute and a half left. Can we talk just a little bit about what is expected? Because I think that would go a long way towards recruitment here.
Yeah. Well, also, we are looking for volunteers year round.
Yeah.
So we do have some great events coming up that if you yourself as an adult want to volunteer at BREC, we have Faye Fest coming up on this Saturday, Faye Festival. And it's kind of it is going to be at Forest Community Park. We still need about 100 volunteers for that event. So Faye Fest is it's kind of like a magical fairyland for kids to experience, like Tinkerbell, and they have games and a map. So it'll be great for, if you want to contribute to the community, you come out to that event.
So overall, though, I mean, you're looking for this basically opens up the door for a fun summer, a safe summer, an interactive summer.
100%.
But puts kids on the path to leadership.
Yes.
100%. All right. So where do they need to go to sign up?
They need to go to brec.org/volunteers, or you can go to brec.givepulse.com.
brec.org/volunteers or
brec.givepulse.com.
She is Dodie Falcon. Thank you so much for a couple minutes.
Thank you for having me.
Likewise. All right, we got to check traffic and then your money now on Talk 107.3.
Thanks, Dodie. Was it good?
Turn on the traffic.
Thank you.
Traffic should be playing right now. There you go. It's traffic at 49, then your money now at 50. Thank you.
Dodie.
Are these on?
Are we off for right now? Off? 8:52. Talk 107.3 FM, WBRP. Mornings with Brian Haldane, rolling right along. The BREC Room, rolling right along. We got about 7.5 minutes left, and I want to pivot now, if we could. Talk about the safety place. We had a grand opening. And tell me all about this. This is fascinating.
Did. So before we get to the safety place, I want to talk about another museum. It's a children's museum in Japan, in Tokyo.
Okay.
That is called Kidzania, and it is designed like a city where kids can go in, they can sign in, and they can actually work in this city to do different things, like be a firefighter or be a policeman or be a shop worker or whatever. And they actually get paid. It's the coolest museum I've ever seen. Well, guess what? We have something very similar right here in Baton Rouge.
Oh.
The safety place is a similar museum to the Kidzania in Tokyo, but just a much smaller scale.
Okay.
So the safety place is a place that actually has existed. This nonprofit has existed for quite some time. Crystal, who developed it, is out of St. George. She was working out of the fire department in St. George and developed this model where she could take it from school to school to teach children about safety, about all kinds of safety in just being on the streets, safety in the home, safety on the bicycle, safety for internet. I mean, there's all kinds of safety things that she hits on. And so they were going from school to school, taking this portable museum from school to school, which took a lot of effort, if you can think about it. I mean, massive amounts of, transportation and whatnot. And so we went into an agreement, a CEA, with the safety place and provided an avenue for them to have this in one place. So it's Cedar Ridge Park over in St. George. The safety place opened officially last week, and they had their grand opening, and we had a wonderful event bringing in all people from all over the city to celebrate this opening. And now they don't have to transport everything. They've got it in one place. So now they can run kids in and out through school trips that they can make, or during the summer, the BREC camps are going to be going through it.
Very cool.
And it's an opportunity for kids to go from station to station to learn about different safety opportunities. It's cool. It's really, really cool.
Talk to me a little bit about that collaboration with the first responders, because I feel like that's the most critical part of the whole scenario right there, is having those who do teach.
Right. So that actually has been one of those things that we've developed over the last year. It was broken a little bit. And so recently we had a meeting with the sheriff's department, police department, and all other law enforcement agencies to say, let's bring together a collaboration and let's bring a force together where we're all working together, because the reality is these are the community parks, are the city's parks. That's the community. And after what happened last week or 2 weeks ago with the Mall of Louisiana shooting and whatnot, we have to collaborate together.
Absolutely.
And work together. And the safety place provides us an avenue for the kids to start learning those things that are important regarding law enforcement and safety.
We've got a couple minutes left here on the show today. There were two things I wanted to circle back on from today's show. First of all, going back to Doty's segment, you had noted during the break, Janet, that while they're looking for kids to volunteer, adults who volunteer can reap some rewards on their state taxes.
Absolutely. If an adult gives, I believe it's 400 hours a year. It's not 400 hours.
300.
I don't even.
Well,
we don't even know how much,
yeah,
how many hours it is. We're going to have to find that out. We'll bring that next Monday. But
Okay.
it's a significant amount of hours per year. If they can give that, and I don't think it's that much. I think it's more like 40. I think we're adding a zero to it. But they get $500 tax credit on their state tax.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we will bring that information next
Yeah,
week.
we will get
All
that
right.
next
Well,
week, 'cause I
I'm
don't think I
noting it
have
down
the-
for next
the
week's
number of
agenda
hours
right now.
correct.
Also, it's been a little bit since I've checked in on the rapid response program.
Yeah.
I know when y'all were getting up and running, everybody was hyped and whatnot.
Yeah, no,
but
very good.
now that it's nice and sustained, what's it looking
it's
like?
extremely successful. I don't have the figures with us right now, but the turnaround is extremely fast.
95%
we
success rate.
And yeah, and our response team has been extremely fast in all facets of mediums: email, texts, phone calls. So the fastest way for folks to interact with us is by sending us an email to rapid@brec.org. put in the subject line of the park and the incident, send pictures, and that's going to be the best way. And then we can give you next week some information on how to download the app. But actually, the best and fastest way is to go to Rapid Response, rapid@brec.org. If you want to go on the website, go to the website, type in Rapid Response, and you'll find another way to send us information.
Rapid@brec.org. Yes, I know. I remember I used it very, very early on. There was a little
continues to be
orange fence up at the playground at Highland Park, and I got my answer like same day. So it wasn't the park's fixed. It was an explanation of they were waiting on a part, and then once the part came in,
and then remember that the answer is not going to be yes, we fixed it. But it's going to be when it's going to be fixed. Right? It's going to be now, soon, later. We're on a hold. We're going to research, but we'll get back with you. The surprising change is that you're actually getting a response. That's what we have
all as a citizen. That's all the reassurance I need.
That's right.
Is yes, it's being looked at.
A lot of the calls back is, look, we still don't have an answer, but let me tell you where we're at. Okay?
Right.
So getting all of us accustomed to the fast response and don't let me land into silence.
It's amazing how an open channel of communication can be such a powerful tool.
So I had somebody reach out to me about Highland and us cutting down trees. And so I was like, I went to the park ops guy and I said, Ray, are we cutting down trees at Highland? And he said, no. And I said, well, there's a patron who said that we've been cutting down oak trees. And so we went back and we were able to look at Google Maps. And these trees have been cut down like 2 years ago. They were old and they were in the right of way. So they weren't our trees, they were the city's trees. And what he was seeing was the residual effect of us going and grounding up the stumps. And so I had another patron call and say, I'm so glad to see the work that y'all are doing to make our parks look better.
Right. It's amazing how perception changes it all, right?
I had a patron ask me, how do they improve the Rapid Response app? And I said, send us a item on the Rapid Response app. And she said, but of course it works. I said, that's right. Just keep feeding us information.
Hey, one quick listener question, if I could squeeze this in.
Sure.
Deborah wants to know if families can bring kids to Safety Place, or do they need to go through a camper school?
They're going to need to go through either BREC school, or I think they're going to form a membership at some point. So just stay tuned on that.
All right. So that is on the way.
That's
in the
great.
meanwhile, that's going to wrap up another installment of the BREC Room. We catch this every Monday and we cover a lot of ground. Janet, Maurice, thank you all so much, as always, for sharing so much time with us. That is also going to do it for this installment of Mornings with Brian Haldane. Moon Griffon is coming up next. Got to keep teasing it. Coming up tomorrow on the Moon Griffon Show is the big Senate debate. Moon is hyped. Moon is ready. And I think we all are as well. We'll be back at you tomorrow, 6 till 9, right here on Talk 107.3 FM. We'll see you then. All right. Facebook, I'm blasting out. We'll see y'all later. Bye.